Part 8. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao. Chapter 71. Chapter 71. Om or Heaven. The final round turned out to be her. The 10,000 character chapter must be ordered. But Xiao Chen suddenly blew himself up this time. The entire law enforcement palace was shocked. After a long time, all the talents belatedly turned their gazes to Qingling Mojun, who was at the side. After seeing this Master Yu Luo, who is extremely powerful, he said calmly, "This deity has been stained with countless blood in this life. Although he is bloodthirsty, he will not kill recklessly. Now that Xiao Chen has swallowed the illusory god's true powder prepared by himself, next, he will unreservedly announce his true identity to the public. Everyone, keep your eyes open and take a good look. What kind of wolfish ambition is hidden in the wronged Kangming Chizi in your eyes?" He just finished speaking. Xiao Chen on the side danced again, and sneered madly, "Bai Qingling, don't be arrogant. After the young master has slept with the 3 female disciples you brought up with your own hands, you will end up betraying your relatives. What kind of shit is Qingling, Mojun? It's just a pawn of my master. Ha 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 ha." As soon as this word came out, the audience was shocked again. Then, there was a burst of shouting and cursing. Should I say it or not, wanting to flirt with a young girl in public, a wretched man. Really? Damn it. I said earlier that this kid doesn't look like a good person. Master Bai really has sharp eyes. Don't worry. This buddy has said nothing, I'm afraid the blood chef will have another puppet. There was a lot of discussion. A cold female voice came. The villain. Damn it. Everyone looked up. Then I saw a white-clothed Shensu woman with picturesque eyes, holding a long sword, flying halfway across the field, stabbing at the insane one-armed young man. It was the second disciple of Yu Luo Hall, the protector Kangming, who made the move. It was Goddess Tantai who made the move. Don't be impulsive. The secret in this kid's mouth has not been fully revealed yet. Yes. This kid can't die. He just mentioned the Kunlun Taoist sect. This Middle-earth righteous way is definitely brewing a plan to strangle me. Just when everyone was worried. Ringtone, stop. A low, cold voice sounded. Immediately afterwards, a mighty and tall specter like a sky tower walked over and came to the side of the female guardian. Master respects me. Looking at the man in front of her, Tantai Lingyan had mixed feelings. Thinking that I had previously agreed to form an alliance with Xiao Chen, a wretched man, to assassinate the master who raised me. A huge sense of guilt surged in her heart. No need to say much. Bai Feng looked at the gentle and beautiful girl in front of him, stretched out his hand, and wiped away the tears from the corners of her eyes. "Master, I assure you that Xiao Chen's son will die in the most painful way, so you don't have to rush." "Well, Susan knows." Tantai Lingyan nodded, but she no longer dared to look directly at the man in front of her. At this time, from the elder's seat, a thunderous voice came. "Xiao Chen. Who is your master? What is your relationship with Kunlun Daozong? And recruit carefully." Everyone followed the reputation. The person who spoke was Nai Yang, the chief elder of the Zonghui Yuan, whose status was only below the 10 empresses. Hearing this loud shout, Xiao Chen, who was in a state of madness, was still a bit taken aback. Then, he pointed at Elder Nai's nose and laughed loudly. "Ha ha ha ha, Nai Yang, since you asked the question sincerely, I will tell you mercifully. My master. He is the righteous way of Zongtu, one of the 4 leaders, the contemporary suzerain of Kunlun Taoism, Yu Suzi. And I, Xiao Chen. I am the only close disciple of the Kunlun sect master." Speaking of this, he puffed out his chest proudly. "Xiao Chen. You are so arrogant. Today is the date of your death, a spy. Na Yang was also so angry that his face turned green, and he looked at the seats in the law enforcement hall beside him, elders of the law enforcement hall. What are you waiting for? Why don't you execute this evil dog on the spot? Ha 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 ha. Na Yang. Who are you threatening? Xiao Chen sneered and said, don't forget. You can also be regarded as half a traitor. After hearing this, everyone was shocked. Everyone turned their horrified gazes to Elder Nai. Xiao Chen. You spout blood. This old man will personally execute you today. A trace of killing intent flashed across Na Yang's eyes, and he was about to fly forward, but was stopped by a cold female voice. Elder Nai, it's unreasonable for you to execute Xiao Chen arbitrarily, bypassing the suzerain and the law enforcement hall. Yehong I's ice blue pupils burst out with the majesty of the suzerain. I also ask Elder Nai to return to his original position and listen to Xiao Chen finish speaking. Just when the atmosphere was chilling, Xiao Chen laughed wildly again, but his appearance became more and more crazy. Ha 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 ha. I laughed so hard. I haven't even opened my mouth yet. You guys are fighting among yourself. You really are a member of the devil who can't be supported by mud. Let me tell you. Yehong I. Over the past few decades, this old boy Nai Yang has been getting closer and closer to my orthodox true martial sword sect. And his biological father is the supreme elder of the true martial sword sect. Who do you think Nai Yang, an old guy, will help when my master leads the disciples of the righteous way to break into the Kangming mountain gate? As soon as he said this, the audience was dead silent. Incredible written all over everyone's face. Indeed. If such shocking revelations are true, the degree of shock far surpasses the fact that Xiao Chen is a traitor. Elder Nai. He's telling the truth. When the old ancestor was here, he treated you well, but you made such an act of collaborating with the enemy. You are so confused. Another elder of the Zhonghui Yuan said with grief. At this moment, Xiao Chen, who was completely insane, laughed again and said, Hey, Chen Taixu, Elder Chen. How dare you talk about others? I heard that this year, you married a young Taoist couple again, and this time the girl is none other than one of the four great sects, the candidate saint of Misty Cloud Palace. You are on two boats, and you are no worse than Elder Nai at the two-sided betting job. You. Elder Chen, who had a righteous face before, turned red in an instant, and was speechless. Ha 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 ha. The young master said it earlier. Here, everyone has a black background. It's ironic. As one of the most powerful existences among the 8 great demon sects, the entire senior management of the Kangming sect is full of fools. I'm afraid that when the time comes, my crusade army of orthodox monks has not crossed the great wall of demon suppression, and you old bastards who are greedy for life and fear of death will take the initiative to surrender and lead the way. Ha 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 ha. It seemed that the brain was stimulated to the extreme by some kind of drug. Xiao Chen's expression became more and more excited, and his speech became faster and faster. In a short period of time, dozens of Kangming high-ranking officials gave evidence of secretly contacting the Orthodox sect. There are not only the elders of the main altar, but also the masters and rudder masters at the entrance of the 10 halls. Even several high-ranking deacons of the Yingui Hall and the Azura Hall, as well as the master of the Ruksha Hall who ascended in situ, the Tiger Taoist, are also on the list of collaborators. In comparison, the Yuluo temple where the ruthless young demon lord sits is actually the cleanest existence. It's so clean that even Xiao Chen, a real traitor, can't pick up a trace of collusion with the enemy. I really didn't expect that Lord Bai, who usually stays in the blood kitchen and doesn't care about world affairs, is the most loyal person among the 4 masters. That's right. Thinking back now, Hall Master Bai not only eliminated the hidden danger of fierce tiger ambition, but also stabilized the order of the sect, and now he has uncovered the traitor Xiao Chen. It can be called exhausting effort. As expected of the patriarch's trustee. He is worthy of the name of Kangming's godfather. A real eel. Damn it. Which bastard just said that palace master by wronged Xiao Chen? Damn it. In an instant, the audience's opinion changed sharply. Everyone cast eyes of awe, reverence, and guilt at that domineering and aloof young demon lord. Those tiger Taoists who had just taken the lead in instigating the old confidants even died down, whispering to each other in horror, planning their way out. They know it in their hearts. Taoist Tiger has had an ambiguous relationship with Yu Suzi of Kunlun Taoist sect in recent years, and there are even rumors that the two came from the same sect. And as the Tiger's minions, they more or less cooperated with Jindao. Therefore, if Xiao Chen is allowed to speak nonsense again, everyone's underpants will probably be turned out. However, it is not only the old part of this group of Rakshasa temples. At this moment, countless Kangming executives who had had friendly exchanges with Jindao all wished to fly up to the stage and tear the mouth of that mad-faced Xiao Chen to pieces. However, seeing that phantom as tall as a sky tower standing beside Xiao Chen, no one dared to act rashly. Indeed, disobedience to that 17-year-old little suzerain, the worst is to be punished. If you go against this demon lord Qingling, then becoming the next Tiger Taoist is just a snap of your fingers. Just when everyone was terrified, but at a loss, that Xiao Chen was beaming with joy, and announced several incredible names again. In addition to the elders of the main altar, there are actually a few empresses with different surnames who once met privately with the four major sects. The audience trembled, everyone was in danger. There was a faint feeling in everyone's heart. If Xiao Chen were to fully expose the list today, the entire Kangming sect might be completely disbanded. Ha 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 ha. Don't panic. I'm only halfway through my list, sir. Your demons are inferior. Ever since you were severely beaten by Senior Mu in the 2 demon-slaying jihads, the entire Eastern Earth demons have long lost a trace of blood. You are all humming surrenderers. Ha ha ha. Looking at the silence of all the devil cultivators in the audience, Xiao Chen's laughter became louder and louder. Just when he was in a high mood and was about to name the next list of collaborators, the domineering and indifferent Mo Qingling finally spoke. Xiao Chen, you don't have to sow discord. The Kangming sect people you mentioned just now, the reason why they contact the righteous way is all the deity's idea. As soon as this word came out, the audience was shocked. Headed by Nai Yang, Chen Taixu, and the 2 elders, the high-ranking officials named by Xiao Chen were even more terrified. They didn't know what kind of medicine this godfather of Kangming was selling in the gourd. The suzerain Yehong I stood up straight away, his ice-blue pupils were full of astonishment. Godfather, are you telling the truth? Certainly. Baifeng said, soldiers never tire of cheating, as long as he is allowed to plant spies in the righteous way, then my magic way can't use countermeasures. The 2 elders, Nai and Chen, including the Empress Xiao Chen just mentioned, after discussing with this deity, deliberately met with people in the righteous way to spy on the enemy's situation. Is that so? Yehong I was dubious, weighed it up, nodded, and said no more. She chose to believe this, and with her own strength, helped her, a weak woman, to the man on the throne of suzerain. Okay, Xiao Chen, let's talk about yourself. Baifeng looked down coldly, the delirious male protagonist in front of him, who seemed to have slipped away. How dare you tell everyone how you contacted your master Yu Suzi? Humph. Then why don't you dare? Xiao Chen spit out a mouthful of saliva, and directly took out a piece of azure jade pendant from his bosom. Listen up. Over the years, my master has communicated with my family through this fake fairy level sound transmission spirit jade. Master delivers the message. Also, I can tell you one more thing. The lives of all of you here are not long. The ancestral saintess of Misty Cloud Palace, Senior Mew, has recovered from the ice coffin in advance. And, she told my master herself, she will soon launch the third holy war of slaughtering demons. Completely clean up all the demon cultivators in Yunzhou, including Na Yang, Chen Taixu, you soft bastards who are willing to surrender. So, let's enjoy ourselves in time. Demon bugs who are only worthy of hiding in the gutter. Ha 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 ha. As soon as he said this, the audience fell into silence again. However, this time, everyone was not silent because of fear, but because of extreme anger accumulated. The fury of the violent and bloodthirsty demon cultivator. Just when all the members of the Kangming sect were furious and wanted to rush forward and tear Xiao Chen into shreds, a domineering voice resounded through the hall. Are you all awake now? The right way, the heart that kills me will never die. That Mu Xinlan claims to be the incarnation of heaven and earth, and regards us as dirty rat ants, wishing to drive us all to extinction. There is absolutely no possibility of mediation. At the time of life and death, our demon cultivators, there is only one battle. Everyone is willing to follow this deity, set up a rebellion flag on the holy mountain of Kangming, step through the Middle Earth, and let those righteous hypocrites tremble in the raging fire. The voice was majestic and fierce, but it contained the solemnity of being brave and not afraid of death. Through its powerful strength, it was transmitted to the ears of every disciple present. Contagious, full of incitement. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. About 10 seconds later, more and more members of the Kangming sect are starting spontaneously. To the end. In the huge law enforcement palace, with 5 floors up and down, all demon cultivators stood up. He looked at that one with a face of tenacity and admiration, the youngest demon king in Dongtu's history. I, Tianlongtang, would like to follow the Lord of the White Palace, expand the territory, resist foreign aggression, and kill all the righteous people. I, Fi Hutang, are willing to follow. It is my duty to recast the glory of the demon Dao. Count me in. For the revival of the magic way. Donate your heart. All of a sudden, all kinds of responses echoed endlessly in the hall. Too long, too long. Ever since Mu Xinlan, a Taoist mysterious girl, was born, the Eastern Earth demon Dao has been suppressed for too long. For thousands of years, every demon cultivator has suppressed a resentment and a grieved heart. However, in the current situation where the demon emperor Zhongbila is greedy for pleasure, the 8 major demon sects are divided, and the dragons have no leader. The demon way is not enough to compete with the righteous way. In the first 2 battles between righteousness and demons, the demons were defeated and lost, which is the best proof. Since the defeat, the entire eastern land, from the lowest casual cultivators to the top leaders of the 8 great demon sects, have deeply understood one thing. In the demonic way, if there is no peerless heavenly demon born who can compete with Mu Xinlan, then the third battle between good and evil is the sad song of the entire eastern land of evil. Fortunately, today, this peerless heavenly demon, he came at the right time. It's right on top of the Kangming Holy Mountain. Just stand in front of this law enforcement palace. Countless members of the Kangming sect burst into tears and responded hoarsely. In the end, all the voices gradually converged into one. Willing to follow Godfather to the death. Watching this scene, Bai Feng finally breathed a sigh of relief. He knows. Killing the fierce tiger before and supporting Ye Hongii to the top position was actually not completely convincing. Until now. He, the godfather of Kangming, finally secured the top spot in the sect. At this moment, perhaps the medicine powder in the brain has evaporated. Xiao Chen, who was jumping wildly just a second ago, fell straight to the ground like a dead body. Master Bai, according to your wishes. How should we deal with this hateful spy Xiao Chen? At this moment, the head of the executive court, Elder Luo, stepped forward and asked with a flattering face. Elder Luo, you are the chief executive, so you should ask yourself this question, Bai Feng said coldly. Ah yes. Then let's act according to the sex laws. Elder Na Luo cleared his throat and said, after the revelation of the righteous extermination of relatives by the Lord of the Yinghui Palace, and the personal interrogation by the Lord of the White Palace, Xiao Chen of the Yinghui Palace committed the felony of collaborating with the enemy. He is temporarily detained in the death row of the law enforcement court, and will be sent to Yuyan Valley tomorrow, to impose the death penalty of burning with demonic fire. The public hearing is over. All Kangming sect members watched. The Lord of Yuluo Hall, the godfather of Kangming, and the master of White Hall, led his own disciples, and took the lead to step out of the palace of law enforcement. Xing are you satisfied now? Bai Feng asked the little disciple beside him. Yeah. The evil fire punishment in Yuyan Valley is the cruelest punishment of the Kangming sect. Xing only hopes that Xiao Chen will be thicker and thicker, so he can persist for a few more hours. Don't raise your braids early, that's too much, it's cheap for him. Sen Xing shook her pink fist. Godfather, please stay. At this moment, a girlish voice with a bright voice came. Bai Feng didn't look back. He just said lightly, Sect Master, yeah, what's the matter? The godfather beat me to death. In private, you can just call me Hong Ai. A beautiful blue-haired girl in a gorgeous suzerain robe walked up with reddish cheeks. She first took a sneak peek at the domineering and cold man. Then, he said to Sen Xing who was clinging to the man and acting like a baby, Xiao Xing can I borrow your master's master? Go and play by yourself first, okay? Snored. Sen Xing pouted her lips, but she didn't buy the new suzerain at all. She remembers it very clearly. Back then, it was the new suzerain who confused the second senior sister and assassinated Master Shizan. Xing is not someone else. Sect Master, yeah, if you have anything you want to ask, just speak up. Bai Feng didn't even look at the goddaughter, and said calmly. Yeah, Hong Ai nodded, and said in a low voice, Hong Ai wants to know, just now the godfather was in the hall, and he admitted that you were the one who discussed with the elders and asked them to have a secret meeting with the righteous way to spy on information. Is it true? Is it? Hong Ai, the godfather is very disappointed that you can still ask such childish questions. Bai Feng shook his head. Yeah, Hong Ai was stunned, and gritted his teeth. Hong Ai is dull. Please show me the godfather. Let me ask you, now that Mu Xinlan is recovering, and the Third Holy War to slay demons is imminent, those exposed by Xiao Chen, even if they are convicted of collaborating with the enemy, can you take them all down? Do you dare? Bai Feng asked back. This. Yeah, Hong Ai's icy blue eyes turned around, and after thinking for a while, he said, it's really not possible. Leaving aside those below the hall master, Elder Nai, Elder Chen, and the Empress are all the cornerstones of the entire Kangming sect, and my foundation is not stable now. Without them, it seems like the huge Kangming sect is afraid that it will collapse in an instant. Therefore, she seemed to have thought of something. The godfather wants me to take a long-term plan, endure it for the time being, and settle the matter after the situation stabilizes. Why do you want to liquidate? Can't your situation be bigger? Bai Feng said, you said it yourself, your foundation is superficial, why don't you take this opportunity, show the demeanor of an open-minded suzerain, and show favor to them. Now, Mu Xinlan's intentions are clearly revealed. They have no choice but to work harder for you, the suzerain. But, Godfather, just as Xiao Chen said, these people have had correspondence with people in the righteous way. Ye Hong Ai bit her lip and said, that's bullshit. Bai Feng raised his eyebrows and said, as long as you have participated in the second battle between righteousness and demons and witnessed with your own eyes, the scene where Muzinlan beheaded the heads of the three major demon sects with the strength of one person, you may also write a letter idea. So, the Godfather wants Hong Ai to regard their betrayal as never happened, Ye Hong Ai said shyly. In the hometown of the deity, there is a good brother named Mengda. He did this in the first battle of life and death in his life. And I can tell you, in the end, he defeated an opponent who was many times stronger than him. Do you understand the meaning of this deity? I see. Ye Hong Ai's beautiful eyes lit up, and she seemed to have figured something out. Godfather. Hong Ai understands. This is an extraordinary moment. Hong Ai must also learn from your good brother Mengda. Unite the sect with a humble heart. Use all your strength to win this life and death battle. Come on. Bai Feng lightly dropped the three words, then led the little apprentice, turned around and left. Looking at this tall and majestic monster body, which seemed to be able to support the sky alone, Ye Hong Ai felt a lot of emotions in his heart. Suddenly, she gritted her teeth and knelt down directly. Red clothes. Kneel to send off the Godfather. Bai Feng was also a little surprised, and looked back at the girl who was kneeling on the ground from the corner of her eye. The sovereign robe that Ye Hong Ai was wearing today had been specially tailored. So much so that, from his vantage point, one could clearly glimpse. Where there is a ditch, there must be fire. Bai Feng suddenly remembered a very old internet proverb from his previous life. In the observation room, suddenly a female voice came from behind. Senior brother Qingling. Just wait. He looked back. He saw a plump, tall woman with a veil trotting towards him. There is no need to look at the face at all. Looking directly at the turbulent waves and violent ups and downs as he ran, he knew that it was his little junior sister, Hua Yuerong, who had arrived. Only. At this moment, what puzzled Bai Feng was that this junior sister Rong is too amazing. Such a perfect stunner who is round yet firm. Could it be that it was grown and maintained specifically to satisfy someone else? Thinking of this, Bai Feng's head suddenly felt a little swollen. Brother Qingling. Hua Yuerong led a group of female disciples from the palace of Yinghui to the front, and she called out affectionately. Bai Feng was suddenly in a trance. The other party's beautiful young girl's posture is just like the young lady washing clothes by the stream in my memory. It doesn't match her current feminine image of a light mature woman at all. Cough cough. Noticing Sen Xing'er at the side, Hua Yuerong cleared her throat, and her expression suddenly became a bit solemn. Little martial nephew, I would like to invite your master to be a guest at Yinghui Palace, and you can go back to Yaluo Palace on your own bar. Sen Xing'er pursed her lips, and blurted out, I'm not. Where is the master? Xing'er must be by my side. The moment the words just came out, she felt a little regretful in her heart. Hey, idiot Xing'er, I seem to have embarrassed my master again. The girl was sighing. But a female voice came from behind again. Hall Master Bai, are you free to come to my Azura Hall tonight? Sen Xing'er looked back. Then I saw a beautiful woman with a hot body and beautiful makeup, holding a plantain and gently moving her waist. Behind her, the disciples of Shura Palace headed by Na Nai Zheng followed. It is the real master of the Azura Hall, Mrs. Ren, Han Jiniang. Oops. Not good. Another bad woman who wants to abduct her master. Sen Xing'er's face darkened, and she clenched her lower lip. What she didn't know was, right now, beside her, her Lord, God, is even more nervous than her. Damn it! What kind of script is this? Sanzan player. Bai Feng's scalp was numb. What made his eyes go dark even more? In the other direction, her two apprentices, Tantai Lingian, also came from a distance with a basket of fresh fairy fruits. This wave. This wave is 4 equal parts of the great love demon lord. That night. Law Enforcement Hall, the 7th floor underground, death row. Old devil bye. You are shameless. You must die. I, Xiao Chen, did not plead guilty. I am innocent. It was all planted on me by that old devil. Come here. Come here. I want to see the elders of the law enforcement court. I want a retrial. A one-armed young man kicked hard at the prison door made of Wanyan spiritual iron, roaring hysterically. Finally. Goodness see you. He waited for the only response tonight. The door of the front guard room was suddenly knocked open by a strong force. A man wrapped in black tights and a masked hat came straight to the cell door where he was. Your Excellency is. Xiao Chen stared wide-eyed, looked at the other party helplessly, and used the key repeatedly to open his prison door. Senior brother Xiao, I am your junior brother. You have never met me, but I have heard of your name since I was a child. The man in black is humane. Are you a disciple of Kunlun Daozong? That's right. I am our master, the last closed disciple accepted. My name is Niu Dali. 3 years ago, when the law enforcement court recruited handymen, the master sent me here as an undercover agent, and asked me not to have any contact with you recognize. It took me 3 years. I just became the deacon of the prison here. I thought I would be so mediocre. I didn't expect that today I will be honored to help you escape from the prison. Not bad. Xiao Chen patted his junior brother on the shoulder. In this way, it's still our master, who is planning ahead, and is wise enough to calculate. That is. Niu Dali echoed, and released the shackles on the opponent. Brother, since the plan has completely failed. Let's go together. Back to Middle-earth. Back to Master. The matter has come to this, the Master will not blame you. Niu strongly suggested. Hey, that's all there is to it? Xiao Chen gritted his teeth and said. I don't know if this little junior is too familiar with the terrain. Along the way, Xiao Chen was led by the other party, and as if entering no one's land, he passed through the whole of the death cell and came to the gate of the Kangming General Altar. The process is unbelievably easy. Ha 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 ha. Looking back at the majestic and terrifying Mozong Memorial archway behind him, with mixed feelings in his heart, Xiao Chen laughed out loud. Brother, why are you laughing? Niu Dali looked around nervously. Humph, I laugh at that old white demon for being scheming, and Hua Yuerong for being too witty. This pair of dogs and men have a lot of calculations, and I'm afraid they won't count. I'm not the only one who sneaked into the Kangming sect. Ha 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 ha. What bullshit demon Lord Qingling. When I, Xiao Chen, regain the aura of the Son of Destiny, I will crush him to pieces. Junior brother Dali. Do you trust me? Niu Dali said with a bitter face, brother, let's go. Otherwise, if the pursuers really come, all previous efforts will be for naught. Don't worry. Senior brother has a good treasure, any pursuers will not be able to catch up with us. Xiao Chen patted the shoulder of this junior whom he had met for the first time, and took out from his bosom an orb that shone with azure blue aura. Senior brother, this is it? Niu Dali asked. This object is called Giwen Pearl. It was a treasure bestowed by the master when the senior brother left the Kunlun section. It is a spiritual treasure of the lower grade and is priceless. However, it can only be used once. Xiao Chen narrowed his eyes and said, but only once is enough. As long as it is activated with mana, it can create a portal and bring us back to the original marked location. And this location is Kunlun Daozong Suzerain Hall. Middle-earth. Kunlun Daozong, the main hall of the Suzerain. The two youths passed through the teleportation formation, and saw a white-bearded old man with a fairy-like demeanor, standing in front of the statue of Sanking. Disciple Xiao Chen pays homage to Master. Disciple Niu Dali pays homage to Master. The two bowed their heads and worshipped. After more than 10 years, seeing the master's real body again, Xiao Chen burst into tears, and rushed forward with all kinds of emotions. "Master! Your big disciple is back." Although the undercover agent for more than 10 years, the plan completely failed, but the apprentice finally came back alive to see the master with only one arm missing. He said every word, and burst into tears. However, Master Shizan, who used to be kind and dark-hearted at the same time, looked at him vigilantly, holding a whisk in his hand, and muttering, "You retreat. Retreat. Retreat." That appearance, as if avoiding the plague god. "Master! What's wrong with you, master?" "It's me. Chen." Xiao Chen walked forward with a look of astonishment. However, every time he took a step forward, he took a step back. The atmosphere above the main hall is really weird. "Quick! Leave this hall quickly. It's too late. Otherwise don't blame the teacher for being rude." Yusuza was holding a whisk in his hand, and his old wrinkled face was full of coldness and sternness. "Master, what's wrong with this?" Following Master's horrified eyes, Xiao Chen was shocked. "I saw that my arms were covered with blue and black lines like cracks. And the lines are spreading towards the skin all over the body at a speed visible to the physical body." At the same time, he felt an unbearable scorching air out of thin air in his dantian. Under his vision, that heat flow gradually condensed into a blazing fireball, which continued to expand, as if it was going to burst his body and explode in the next second. Moreover, the skin on his body began to crack horribly, like dry land. "Master! Master, what's wrong with me? Save me! Save me!" He finally realized what, and shouted in despair. "Fool! You fell into that by Kingling's rank 6 magical goo earth explosion star goo. If the goo seeds are not planted deeply, the old man is still able to save you. But you, the goo seeds, have grown wildly for a day and a night, and have merged with your body. There is nothing you can do as a teacher. Student, this earth explosive star goo is extremely lethal. In order not to implicate the master, you find a quiet place to die alone." Yugzuza's usually kind-hearted old face suddenly became a bit sinister and gloomy. He gritted his teeth, and pushed out with all his might. Boom! In the early stage of Hideo, the strong man, blown by the terrifying palm wind, Xiao Chen, who was constantly melting himself, suddenly soared to an altitude of 10,000 meters, standing side by side with the blue sky and white clouds. Next moment, collapse. A loud cracking sound came from above the sky. On this day, the entire Kunlun Taoist sect, the disciples of the 7 Veins and 13 Peaks, saw the most splendid man-made fire cloud. The Son of Destiny of a generation has completely returned to heaven and earth, and there is not even a residue left. Chenur, who is my teacher's favorite? Ah! Above the sovereign hall, Yugzuza knelt in front of the statue of Sanking, wailing bitterly. Tears wet his clothes. "Master, don't be sad. Senior brother Xiao has been loyal to his sect all these years. At the moment when he knew he was going to die, he hoped that you would slap his body away so as not to harm innocent seniors." Niu Dali at the side hurriedly comforted him. "You know what a fart. Do you know how much thought, how much money and material resources this old man has spent on cultivating this little bastard? Damn!" Yusuza's eyes are blood red, his beard and hair are flying, his teeth and claws are open, and his appearance is like a madman in purgatory. "By Qingling! Are you provoking this old man? Humph! This old man was able to single-handedly build you back then. Now he can also drag you from the top of the demon peak to hell. Come here. Go to the misty cloud palace to deliver the order. This old man wants to see Musuanv. East Soil. Uluo Hall, on the star observation cliff." Sensinger was lying on Huimen Yuxian's bed, She took off her embroidered shoes, her little white silk feet were up and down, bouncing up and down happily. Wow! Singer really likes this soft water bed. It's much more comfortable than the hard cold jade bed in the bedroom. Baifeng rubbed the little disciple's head and didn't say much. All he wanted to say in his heart was that it was a middle-grade spiritual weapon from the golden treasure chest anyway, so it would be unreasonable if it was not practical at all. But talk. What is the function of this thing? It seems that it can accommodate up to 10 people to practice together, and the more people interact at the same time, the faster the cultivation level will increase. This is forcing me to send someone to open import in another world. Baifeng was imagining an exciting scene. Suddenly, the little disciple at the side asked, "Master, is Xiao Chen really dead?" Baifeng looked at the sky to the west, and murmured, "Singer, did you see that crimson aurora in the sky just now?" "Okay." Sen Singer jumped off the water bed, and sat obediently beside Master. Under the moonlight, two figures, one big and one small, sat side by side. The night wind was gentle, and silver-white fireflies were scattered in the surrounding night sky. The two figures also unconsciously moved closer and closer. At this moment, if anyone else is here, they will definitely be moved by this beautiful picture. Sen Singer cautiously leaned forward, blushing and said, "Master, in fact, Singer just made a wish to that aurora." Flutter. At this moment, even Baifeng, who was trying to maintain the image of a strict teacher, couldn't help laughing. "Then I'm afraid you won't get what you want." "Ah? Why?" The girl looked disappointed. "Because that aurora is the last afterimage of Xiao Chen in this world. It's so disgusting." Recalling the appearance of that greasy man vaguely, Sen Singer felt a chill. Then, she boldly pushed the tall and burly Mojun master to the ground, crying and coquettishly saying, Master is so bad. Tell Singer sooner." Being so bullied by the little apprentice, Baifeng just lay flat and smiled, and didn't reprimand and stop. On the one hand, it was the hero Xiao Chen who died suddenly, and he was really happy in his heart. But more importantly, he found the atmosphere in front of him made him feel very happy, and he couldn't bear to destroy it. "Ah, master." Perhaps because she was a little tired from shouting, the girl's cat-like eyes widened, and her expression suddenly became serious. She looked closely at the man below her. "What do you want to do?" Seeing the girl getting closer and closer to his face, Baifeng felt an inexplicable throbbing in his heart, and asked instinctively. Moreover, he used you for the first time instead of calling him by his first name Singer. "Master, you look so good looking." Sen Singer looked down at the handsome face who was close at hand, and said every word with conviction. At this moment, due to her posture, her twin ponytails brushed against her pretty face, which made her lose a bit of arrogance and add a bit of charming femininity beyond her age. "Well, then what?" "Singer wants to say something." Baifeng asked. "Singer wants." The little princess of Yuluo Palace completely shed the shyness and cuteness of the past, and said to her lover in a calm and generous manner, "Master just needs to know that tonight is a super smart and capable star. I'm sure." "Say it." Driven by some long-suppressed emotion in her heart, she closed her beautiful eyes and slowly moved closer. At this time, an extremely unpleasant old woman's voice came from the bottom of the cliff. "Hall Master Bai, can you be on this cliff? I am the chief deacon of the Yinghui Hall. By the order of the Hall Master, please go to the Yinghui Hall to reminisce about the old days." Besides, the Hall Master also said, "She boiled the snow ginseng and lotus seed soup that senior brother Qingling loves most. I rely on?" "No. Didn't I invite junior sister Renji to another day during the day? Why is she still so persistent?" "She won't. It's a declaration of sovereignty." Baifeng's heart tightened suddenly. "And right now, the little beauty who was brought up by one hand made him even more difficult to choose. Clang. I don't know if it is God's will. At this moment, a crystal clear glass-colored orb rolled out of his cuff and fell to the ground. That's right. It was the midsummer of my first love many years ago. By the creek at the mountain gate of the evil medicine sect. That young lady with a smile like a flower, a gift for him. The name of this book has been officially changed to Great Love Immortal. All female disciples want to raid me, don't get lost. I love the demon lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 72. Chapter 72. Om or Heaven. Just when Bai Feng was confused, the little apprentice Sen-Singer who was on him jumped on him directly, a pair of tender white silk legs that were suitable for sensuality, tightly closed together, locking his lower body tightly. Master, don't go. The girl's cheeks were flushed, and she breathed like blue and whispered in his ear, Singer. Singer knows that the master wants to see the master of the flower hall, and also knows that his status is humble, and he is not as important as the master of the flower hall. But even so, I still hope that the owner will stay tonight. Be with your faithful and lovely dog. At the end, she closed her beautiful eyes, gently but forcefully, and simply shouted out. It seemed to be the most sincere confession. At this moment, the girl's face is all red, and her petite and exquisite body is curled up into the arms of her master. It seems that what she just said exhausted all her courage. However, a long time has passed. There was silence all around. The god in front of him did not respond to her confession and request. Everything was silent. Only the cold wind. Master, yes. Are you unwilling? Ah, Singer understands. Perhaps in the eyes of the owner, Singer is still a useless stupid dog, hey. The little princess of Yuluo Palace murmured in a low voice, tears kept sliding down her long eyelashes, and wet master's chest and skirt. Then, perhaps seeing that Lord Tianshen was still silent, some kind of worry appeared in her heart again, she lowered her head, and said, Master, don't be unhappy. It was Singer who took the liberty just now. Singer will never make such a stupid request again. As she said that, she wiped away her tears, and actually squeezed out a cute smiling face with tears in it. However, please rest assured, Master. Singer will never be discouraged. From now on, Singer will work harder. Do more and better things for Master. One day, Master will be willing to accompany. She hadn't finished speaking. A small cherry mouth, but it was blocked by something. That instant soft and sticky touch. That thunderstorm night, in the blood kitchen, when the master secretly kissed her, it was also the same feeling. Even if she dies in this life, she will never forget it. At this moment, her heart beat faster, she simply closed her beautiful eyes, and cooperated with the other party with a face of enjoyment. When the kiss was thick, she even took the courage to stretch out her hands and put them around the neck of Lord Tianshen. Although I don't know why, the owner will suddenly kiss her stupid dog. But she will never let go of this opportunity. She doesn't even know what to do next. The only thought in my mind is, embrace the master tightly, and then, merge with him. Just when her whole body was numb and her soul was wandering into the sky, the handsome man in front of him, who brought her up with one hand, gently hugged her off his body. Immediately afterwards, he said in a gentle tone that he had never had before. Singer, do you know that this is not the first time Master has kissed you? Bai Feng stroked the girl's blushing little face and said. Singer. I know. Singer smiled shyly, but still lowered her head, not daring to look directly at the man in front of her. Do you know? Singer wrung her little hands, and said weakly, actually, that night it was the first time I slept on the cold jade bed in the underground palace. Singer was not used to it, so she didn't sleep soundly. So you noticed that this deity was kissing you secretly, didn't you? Baifeng smiled inwardly, slipped the girl's delicate nose, pretended to be angry and said, "Humph, you little cunning, why did you continue to pretend to be asleep?" I. Under the direct gaze of Lord Tianqian's cold and handsome eyes, Sen Xing'er's cheeks turned even redder. In extreme shame, she simply patted her head, because Xing'er is a stupid dog. I don't know how to respond at all, hey. Looking at the girl's cute appearance, he suddenly recalled the scene when he first met the other party when he first traveled through time. Baifeng's heart was also full of emotions. He found, I am true, a little bit in love with this cute little girl who I brought up with my own hands. Be perverted, be perverted. Pure love itself is not shameful. Then, silly Xing'er, you can now respond to this deity. Since time traveling, Baifeng showed the most genuine smile and gazed at the girl tenderly. Ah! What does the master want Xing'er to respond to? Sen Xing'er raised his head and glanced at Lord Tianqian, and then immediately lowered his head in embarrassment. Xing'er, your master, he likes you very much. Without any ambiguity, Baifeng said word by word. After hearing this, the girl's delicate body trembled, and then her beautiful eyes widened to the extreme, and a brilliant starlight appeared in her eyes. Suddenly, I got a confession from God. At this moment, she only felt that her feet were floating in the air, and her whole body was floating, as if walking on clouds. Master, star. Weeping with joy, the girl covered her hot cheeks, but was unable to say a word for a long while. No need to say much. Baifeng took the initiative to lean forward, bent down, and kissed the girl on the forehead. Ask your heart, do you love the man in front of you? This question. As if being hit by the sap of happiness, the girl suddenly woke up, and the next moment, she no longer cared about it, and plunged into that warm and broad embrace. Stupid Xing'er loves the omnipotent master until death. The girl's cheeks were flushed, and her eyes were firmly swearing to the starry sky. A smile appeared on the corner of Baifeng's mouth, and he hugged this girl whom he recognized at the first sight through time travel. Under the moonlight, two figures, one big and one small, gradually merged into one. So far, the withdrawn and cold Mo Junqingling has his first official lover. Xing'er, are you ready? Ah! Prepare for what? The deity took you up the mountain on the first day, and you clamored to spend the night on this stargazing cliff to watch the stars, do you remember? Well. Xing'er remembers. Xing'er was only 8 years old that year, and she was very naughty. But the master still doted on watching the astrology night with Xing'er. The girl lay in the arms of the master, sweetness appeared in her beautiful eyes. Memories. Yes, it was also that night on this stargazing cliff, the deity accepted you and turned you into a demon cultivator, and now, you and I will revisit our old place, tonight. Baifeng gritted his teeth, with a majestic expression on his face. I want to teach you Deng Duolang. Deng Xing'er didn't hear clearly. It means to teach you to grow up. At this moment, Baifeng couldn't hold back anymore. The love in his heart was getting stronger and stronger, almost gushing out. He stretched out his thick arms, and easily embraced his disciple's petite body into his arms. Kissed deeply and passionately. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I love the Demon Lord. My female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao. Chapter 73. Blood Kitchen, in the underground bedroom. After a night of hard work, Baifeng only felt that his whole body was transparent and his heart was relaxed and happy. He slowly sat up and looked into the void. His eyes were clear and indifferent, like an ancient sage. Baifeng glanced back. On the dreaming waterbed there was a beautiful and lovely girl in ancient style, sleeping on her back, her cheeks still blushing, and her mouth was still babbling indistinctly. She's really cute. Why don't you just stop? Forget it, let my singer take a good rest. With the palm of Baifeng moving, he picked up a spiritual thought, and on the museum shelf in the distance, a magic carpet of animal skins flew over, wrapping the body of the girl Quilug. It is also this time. Baifeng just found out. Next to the torn magic sticker, the white eye silk that Singer usually wears was also torn into pieces. Damn, Master Yuluo, how different are you from a beast? Clean up your mood and come to the secret magic room on the second floor of the Blood Kitchen. The God Machine box temporarily stored here was taken out. Looking at this treasure chest wrapped in the breath of flames, Baifeng felt mixed feelings. He felt sorry for Singer, endured the terrifying scorching heat all the way, and brought this thing back to his side. Yet ecstatically over. Finally, I can put back my own heart. Moreover, it is the heart of Huad that has been warmed and strengthened by the fire of the source spirit of the flame demon god. In fact, over the years, the artificial Odoki heart in his body has shown a tendency to wither. During the intimate interaction with Singer last night, there was even a sudden stop. It can't be delayed. Change your fate against the sky, in one fell swoop. Baifeng's eyes were like torches, and he put his hands on the top of the box, continuously inputting spiritual thoughts, and unlocking the magic lines on the surface one by one. Soon. Bang. There was a crisp sound. The magic box slowly opened. With an incomparably hot stream of heat, blowing toward the face. A bloody heart wrapped in flames, constantly beating, like a living thing, appeared in Baifeng's eyes. Is this the original accessory of someone from me? Baifeng's heart shuddered. Have to say. Compared with the twisted and ferocious, extremely restrained Daiji meatball that merged when he first crossed, this heart of his is actually a bit more beautiful. The moment Baifeng stretched out his hand, he suddenly sensed something. Who? Baifeng gave a cold drink. His eyes became cold and severe, and he looked back. He actually saw a petite beauty wearing only a tulle nightgown, with bare feet, standing by the door. Master, yes. It's Singer. Maybe she was taken aback too, since Singer rubbed her eyes and said weakly. Well, Singer, come here. Baifeng's eyes suddenly became gentle. If someone else appeared at such a moment, he would definitely try his best to kill him. As for the girl in front of him who had accepted his purest love, it was difficult for him to be on guard. Singer, can you really come here? The girl's cat-like eyes widened innocently, and she asked again. After the Lord God nodded gently to himself. She just walked over with a pair of tender white bare legs. As you can see, this is what I desperately brought back from the Flame Demon Tower, the original heart of the deity. Baifeng said word by word. Ah! Sen Singer stared at the throbbing bloody creature in front of her, and after a while, tears welled up in her eyes. Huh? Well done, why are you crying? Seeing his disciple burst into tears, Baifeng was also a little surprised. Don't cry, Singer doesn't cry. Singer swore to herself last night. After becoming the master's bride, she will also become stronger. Sen Singer quickly wiped away her tears and whispered. But. She turned her head to the side, as if she couldn't bear to look at the heart again. Singer, seeing this heart makes me feel so sad. Why are you sad? Baifeng couldn't help asking. Sen Singer's voice choked up again, because, in the master's exposed memory, the master was forced to dig out his own heart just to save Miss Wronger. Ha ha ha, you are serious about it? Baifeng rubbed the girl's head. It doesn't matter, it's over, now I respect the body of flesh and blood. Singer should also be happy for the deity. Yeah. Singer knows. Sen Singer nodded obediently. Immediately, In order to make Lord Tianxian feel better, she put her fingertips on her cheeks and pulled out a funny smile. "Hey, master, look. Is Xing'er smiling enough?" Baifeng couldn't help laughing, and then said slightly seriously, "Xing'er, take a step back, the deity is going to let it return to its original body." Sen Xing'er took a few steps back, widened her eyes, and looked at her master without blinking. Next moment, under her stunned gaze, the master actually cut a bloody hole in his chest with the demon-breaking knife that he usually experiments with. Immediately afterwards, an even more amazing scene happened. From the owner's chest, the yellow and shriveled Odoki's viscera flew out spontaneously. At the same time, the heart of fire virtue seemed to have sensed some kind of call, and it jumped with increasing excitement, flying towards the master's body. The two hearts froze in the air for 2 seconds, as if handing over some kind of ceremony. Then, the heart of Huoda, who had been nourished for 100 years, quickly returned to its original body. And then, the shocking blood hole on the master's body began to heal and regenerate at a speed visible to the naked eye. In an instant, the chest and abdomen returned to normal, showing the muscle lines of the past. God! Is this the innate formless demon body? No wonder the previous master healed my injury once and for all with only the devil's blood in his mouth. The master is truly the son of heaven, the only ruler of the heavens and 10 earths. Xing'er is so excited to be the master's bride. Thinking of such a perfect physical body, completely unable to enter her own small body last night, Sen Xing'er's beautiful eyes gleamed, as if hit by happiness. The other side. Baifeng was also delighted. Because at the moment when the heart returns, he then sensed that there was another hot, inexhaustible power of fire in his demon body. In the game, the Xiao Chen played by the player, after merging Bai Qingling's heart of fire, his physical strength has greatly increased, and he is immune to all fire spells and supernatural powers. And now, as the original owner of this heart of fire essence, after merging with it, my phaseless demon body will be even more invincible. At this moment, the corners of Baifeng's indifferent mouth rose, and his expression showed a rare ecstasy. His satisfaction and joy even surpassed the time when he merged with Xiao Xing'er last night. Sure enough, compared to attacking girls, the expansion of physical strength becomes stronger, which is the happiest pleasure in the world. Traveling through this cruel world of self-cultivation, only if you are strong enough can you do whatever you want, conquer Jizhu, climb to the top of the starry sky, hum all over. Ahem. In an instant, Baifeng strengthened his demon heart again. This is the moment. Ding. A message was received in the brain. Congratulations. Because of your fusion of heart aspect original fire, your first supernatural power 9 Yi Burning Heaven Ju has been activated to the 3rd level. At the moment when Baifeng was slightly stunned, he also clearly felt that in the depths of the sea of consciousness, a supernatural power key of a very high sequence was activated and lit up. Nanny. Traveling to the present, it's only been 2 months, and my current physical cultivation is only at the peak of the alchemy period, which is not enough to awaken this great supernatural power. That's right. It should be the effect of the heart of fire virtue. In an instant. Having figured everything out, Baifeng hurriedly called out the system panel. Name, Baifeng, road name, Qingling. Physique, congenital formless demon species, unrestricted by all laws, impervious to all poisons, super enlightened, and the only way of magic. Age, 120. Cultivation, the peak of alchemy stage. Gongfa's supernatural powers, prime ancient containing breath technique, available, 9 Yi Burning Heaven Ju, available, currently unlocked to the 3rd floor, Heavenly Demon Transformation Dragon Sutra, not available, Blood Sea Tragedy Ju, unavailable, comma. Auxiliary skills, Alchemy, LV89, Gudeo, LV95, God Level Massage, LV99, Acupuncture, LV 97. Reminder, the full floor of any skill in the current world is level 99. Sure enough. Looking at the clear and large characters 9 Ye Burning Heaven art is available on the panel, Bai Feng felt steady happiness. Now that I have taken back the heart of Huiwen, the remaining 4 viscera are warmed with Xiantian Zhengjin, Tongtian Jian Mua, Yuanling water, and Huangtian Empress oil respectively, and are hidden in the 4-elephant pole in the Holy Land of the back mountain of the Acacia Section Palace. If I get them all back, my strength can be increased by more than 10 times. Bai Feng muttered in his heart, and began to recall the plot of the next node in the game. At this time, the body was actually embraced by a pair of slender arms. Senior congratulates Master. Reshape the demon body. Sen Senior embraced the mighty and tall man in front of him, smiling like a flower. Well, the deity can get to where it is today, all of which cannot do without your credit, Senior. It will always be the deities carrying little padded jacket. Non-vegetation. Recalling the time since time travel, what the girl in front of him has done for him, Bai Feng also felt tenderness in his heart. Master, do you really think that Senior has helped you? Sen Senior immediately said with delighted cheeks, a little flattered. Certainly. Bai Feng nodded and said, among the 3 apprentices of this deity, Senior belongs to me, which makes me most gratified. Ah! Hearing this, Sen Senior's face was excited, like a kitten. She rubbed against the owner's arms, and said, then, can Senior ask the owner for another reward? Ahem. Didn't the deity reward you just now? Bai Feng said coldly. Great love energy. Sen Senior was taken aback for a moment, then remembered something. Not enough. Senior still wants to. Forget it, it's a reward for me to show you a boxing supernatural power that you've never seen before. Bai Feng suddenly remembered something. Then, he grabbed the little apprentice by the ponytail, and his figure flashed. Call out. The 2 passed through the space circle inside the blood kitchen in an instant, and came to the highest Tian cliff in the entire Yoluo temple. Senior, pay attention. This will be the most amazing boxing supernatural power you have ever seen in this life. After rubbing the girl's little head, Bai Feng walked forward a few steps alone. Then, his eyes were like lightning, and his 5 fingers were clenched into fists. At the same time, his dantian raised the powerful and overbearing power of fire. In an instant, following the flames of the divine sense and the front of the fist, after reaching a certain indescribable fit, his gnarled muscles bulged, he threw his right arm with all his strength, and swung a heavy punch towards the stars in the sky. The first form of the 9 Ye's Burning Heaven Ju, Burning Heaven Baquan. Boom. After a thunderous muffled sound that pierced through the void with domineering force, the terrifying and majestic flames, along with the huge fist shadow he swung, continuously spread forward and sprang into the night sky. In an instant, like a fire burning clouds, it lit up the entire night sky, eclipsing the stars. Hey, just one punch can cause the world to change color. Bravo! Sen Senior's eyes were starry, and when she was excited, she spread her hands around her little mouth, and even yelled out. Under her shocking gaze, the flames at the front of the fist turned into a flaming dragon in the end, galloping and screaming, and rushed towards the western sky. AHH. Master. What kind of supernatural power is this? Senior wants to learn it too. Looking at the domineering man standing beside him with his hands behind his back, Sen Senior hugged him tightly in admiration again. This is the unique supernatural power of the deity. It is impossible in this world. There is a second person who can practice it. Bai Feng shook his head. As for its name, well, we can call it Shocking Yunzo's first punch. Yes, he really wasn't joking. This set of boxing magical powers that condenses the laws of space, once played, will follow his will and burn all the way to the end of the world. and the direction he swung just now. It is the place where righteous monks from all over the world gather, the place where countless dynasties and dynasties are cooked with fire, and it is also the center of the entire Yunzhou, the land of Zhongzhou. Tonight, he, Bai Qingling, wants to make the countless powerful men in Middle-earth, the emperor of the dynasty, and that old enemy Muzinlan understand one thing. The demon lord Qingling who shocked Yunzhou's comprehension world. He is back. And after the first blood, demon lord Qingling will be even more everything. Yinghui Hall. The spacious and elegant palace master bedroom. A plump and proud woman with a round face and a lady's bun was looking over the railing with a sad look on her face. It is the hostess of Yinghui Temple. Waiting to see this holy lady who usually wears complicated and heavy robes and wraps herself tightly. Today, not only did she remove her veil, but she also put on delicate and glamorous makeup. She was only wearing a light blue tulle dress, which did not conceal her plump yet slender figure. Hey, everyone in the world says that men are the most fickle. Didn't you expect that? Even Palace Master Bai is no exception. An old woman sighed from the side. Miss, you haven't put on makeup for many years. Tonight, you dressed up so well for him, but he refused decisively. It's true. The Deacon Joe walked over with a distressed face. How about, Miss, I will go to Yuluo Hall to invite Lord Bai again. No need. Besides, with peach blossom eyes, Hua Yuerong looked coldly at this old woman who had been with her for many years. From now on, don't let me hear any words that criticize my brother Qingling, even you. This seat will be very angry, got it? Hey, please forgive me, miss. I just feel sorry for Miss. Deacon Joe sighed. What's wrong with me? Hua Yuerong stared at the night sky. Her round oval face was full of sadness. Senior brother Qingling has endured so much pain for me, even at the expense of his own heart essence to pull out the poison for me. Whoever felt sorry for him? Therefore, don't let me be rejected. Even if he kills me with a sword, I won't have half a complaint. From now on, senior brother Qingling, he deserves to let his junior sister Rong give up everything, including dignity. She spoke resolutely, but her eyes still glanced in the direction of Yuluo Palace, as if she was still expecting something. Senior brother Qingling, are you really going to stop liking me because you are angry with Rong? Thinking of this, her eyes became more and more sad. At this time, boom! There was a loud noise in the night sky. The two people in the room looked together. Then I saw that the stars dimmed suddenly, and a huge fist shadow like a huge fire dragon, spitting out the tongue of fire, crossed across the night sky, looking at the western sky. What a powerful supernatural power! This is... Deacon Joe couldn't help shouting, his old eyes were full of shock. This is the 9-yi burning heaven art created by senior brother Qingling. On weekdays, the embroidered face saintess, who was cold and calm, had beautiful eyes shining brightly, like a little girl, jumped up, pointed at the night sky and said, Deacon Joe, look quickly. Brother Qingling, who just got his heart back, is reviewing the set of supernatural powers. So, he really has something important to do tonight? He didn't deliberately reject his junior sister Rong. Senior brother Qingling, Rong is really happy for you. When it came to the end, Miss Hua family wept with joy, her beautiful eyes were full of love and admiration. I love the demon lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 74. Chapter 74, Muzinlan's Beauty Trick. If you want to get rid of beasts, you must first dedicate yourself to them. Yunzhou Middle-earth. True martial sword sect, Tri-Sword Cliff. The sea of clouds is churning, and the mountain wind is howling. A group of young disciples with aloof temperament and holding refined steel Dao swords are practicing their swords against the wind with a majestic momentum. Among this group of elite disciples of the inner sect, a woman in a black tight-fitting dress with a high ponytail and a glamorous appearance looked particularly outstanding. I saw that not only did she move freely, but wherever the sword edge went, a mysterious and incomparable sword charm permeated, and she turned into a powerful sword world alone, isolating herself from the surrounding brothers. Oh my God! Senior Sister Feng is so powerful. This set of Liu Yun sword art was just handed down by the elder Chuan Gong yesterday, and she is so familiar with it today. Senior Sister Feng is the most proud personal disciple of the suzerain. Several sword-wielding masters also admire her very much. In my opinion, the next suzerain must be her. Ah, is it a bit too much? Senior Sister Feng is a genius, but the selection of the master of the righteous sect has always favored blood, either from a famous family or a high-level blood of the sect. And Senior Sister Feng. Yeah, I also heard that Senior Sister Feng seems to be from the east, and she came to Central Continent after going through many twists and turns. Isn't Dongtu the gathering place of demons? Sister Feng must come from a family of demons, right? There was a lot of discussion. In the end, maybe they were also tired, and they all stopped practicing swords and concentrated on gossip. But the woman in black in front of her swung her sword like rain intently, as if everything in the world was out of her sight except the sword. Brothers, please be silent. At this moment, above the sky, a majestic and magnetic male voice came. Everyone's heart trembled, and they followed the sound and looked up to the sky. Then I saw a luxurious royal flying boat inlaid with bright golden runes, flying towards the cliff. On the deck of the flying boat, a handsome young man dressed in royal brocade clothes stood facing the wind, with a clear and noble demeanor. It's the Third Highness of the Great Chu dynasty, Lin Mo. Ah! I heard a long time ago that since the last time the Third Highness came to pay respects to the suzerain with his father, he has developed a love for Sister Feng. Now it seems that it is true. Don't say it. Really don't say it. The Great Chu dynasty has always had a very close relationship with our Jinwu sword sect, and the two of them are even talented girls. I regard this marriage as a matter of course. Hush. Don't mess with the Mandarin ducks. Senior Sister Feng heard these words, and she must be beaten. With the flying boat landed, the noble and handsome young prince walked down slowly under the service of several servants. I'll pay my respects to the third prince. All the disciples of Jinwu sword sect saluted one after another. You don't have to be too polite. Lin Moru smiled elegantly, and after waving his hands as a signal, he walked straight towards the tall and beautiful figure on the edge of the cliff. My prince has something to discuss with Senior Sister Guizhong Feng. Brothers, would you like to make it easier for me? He turned his head and said to the crowd. Nature. All the disciples understood, and disappeared in an instant. After seeing everyone leave, the young man tiptoed to the back of the tall, slender figure whose hips were hips and waists were waists. He just found out. I am actually a little shorter than this goddess sister. In an instant, he, who was full of royal bearing just now, suddenly became as reserved as a little boy. With red cheeks, she called out, Sister Lixu. Your Highness, what can I do for you? Feng Lixu stared directly at the sea of clouds in front of her with cold and charming eyes, and asked lightly. Actually, it's fine. Lin Mo smiled embarrassingly. It's been a long time since I saw Senior Sister Feng, and I have a lot of thoughts in my heart. By the way, Senior Sister Feng, I want to give you a present. While speaking, the young man took out a piece of exquisitely shaped emerald with a shimmering aura from his arms. This thing is my great Chu Royal. Enough. Before the young man finished speaking, he was coldly interrupted by the other party. You will not be rewarded for meritorious deeds, Third Prince. If there is nothing else, Lixu will take my leave first. After all, she took a long leg and wanted to leave. But he was stopped by the boy with the red face. Sister Lixu, don't you know what I'm thinking? Lin Mo Jun's eyes flickered, and he said sincerely, you are the first woman to make me fall in love. For you, this prince can do anything. And, I think I will never fall in love with other women in my life. Flutter. Fen Lixu's glamorous red lips showed a playful smile. The third prince is only 15 or 16 years old, about the same as my cousin Singer in my hometown. Do you know what love is? I may not understand. The young prince didn't back down, his eyes became more intense, but I can feel, Sister Lixu, there is a lingering haze in my heart all the time. And what I want to do is eradicate the nightmare in your heart, Sister Lixu, completely. Redeem you. And then promise you a bright future. After hearing this, Fen Lixu sneered again, save. The third prince is too arrogant. You can't even imagine what the most terrifying devil in the world would look like. You are not worthy, and you cannot save me. As for me, I have my own destiny, so don't bother the third prince. After Fen Lixu finished speaking coldly, she turned around and left. At this time, the sea of clouds ahead suddenly changed color. Immediately afterwards, in the center of the sky, a cloud of fire suddenly appeared, and it continued to spread at a speed visible to the naked eye. Only in an instant, the originally endless blue sky was dyed a fiery red, as if the end of the world had come. Rumble. As the clouds deepened, a muffled sound came out. The surrounding Huashe spontaneously dispersed. A huge flaming fist shadow, like a fire dragon, flashed past and swept towards the end of the sky. On Lin Mo's cheeks, the youthfulness faded away, and he made a solemn judgment, is this the supernatural power of a certain taboo strong? Yes, as the third prince saw. This is the great horror that you will never understand in your whole life. Fen Lixu closed her beautiful eyes with a face of despair. I admit that you are very strong, and your talent is rare in all ages, but if I tell you that the nightmare in my heart is the man who swung this punch, how will you deal with it? In an instant, the stubborn and resolute genius prince turned pale and was speechless. 9 Ye burning heaven art, when Lixu was 9 years old, I saw you use it once, and I will never forget it for the rest of my life. So, I am a ruthless, yet magnificent master. How hard will Lixu have to work to escape your clutches? Looking up at the domineering and invisible shadow of Fen Tian's fist, which looked down upon the world with disdain. A series of complex emotions with hatred, fear, but also worship and awe. Senior Sister Uluidian's beautiful eyes drooped, and a line of crystal clear tears just slid down. The southern region of Zhongzhou, Misty Cloud Palace, Holy Land, Xianbing Lake. A girl wearing a royal princess costume, with a proud bust and a cute childlike face, knelt down by the lake, crying out of grief. Master! Just now, a letter from the Kunlun Dao sect came. Senior brother Xiao Chen, he was killed by that demon, Bai Qingling. I beg Master to go out and kill the devil. Take revenge for me, Senior brother Xiao. When it came to the end, the girl was already sobbing, and kowtowed even more desperately. I don't know if it was the girl's crying that moved the gods at the bottom of the lake. A warm and pleasant female voice, like the voice of a cloud palace fairy, came from the bottom of the lake. Xian'er, you are my muse Inlin, the only disciple in this life, the 9th princess of the great Chu dynasty. How can you be so cowardly? Then Xiao Chen was originally the son of destiny, and he was favored by heaven, but now he died suddenly and carelessly. It is probably his own death, so there is nothing to regret. Hear this voice. The girl's body trembled instinctively, and then she quickly wiped away her tears and said, but Master Xiao, senior brother, has taken care of me in every possible way since I was a child. He and I are like brothers and sisters. Now that he is killed by the devil, You definitely can't sit idly by. When it came to the end, the girl's eyes were bloodshot, and her delicate face revealed a decisive killing intent. So, you came to embarrass your master, didn't you? The female voice at the bottom of the frozen lake asked back. I dare not. The girl quickly kowtowed. Hey, child, others don't know the current situation of the master, you should know it. The next third demon-slaying jihad. It's the last thing your master can do for the common people in this world. In this life, I, Muse Inlan, have broken my way to immortality and cultivated 800 years of merit for the world, all for that moment. Now the time is not ripe. If I break out of the coffin at this time, all previous efforts will be in vain. Child, do you understand? The female voice at the bottom of the frozen lake became a little sad. Master. It's Gienna's mistake. It's Gienna's waywardness. The girl in the palace costume had a face full of remorse, tears oozing again, and said sincerely, Gienna knows that the master bears the burden of all the people in the world. Gienna also wants to advance and retreat with you. As for brother Xiao Chen's blood feud, Gienna will definitely let Bai Qingling pay back 10 times in the future. After hearing this, the female voice at the bottom of the frozen lake was finally a little gentle. Well, this is Master's good disciple. But if you are really eager to take revenge, I have an idea, Master. Disciple, listen to Master's teaching. The girl's eyes lit up, and she quickly sat up straight. After a second of silence, the female voice at the bottom of the frozen lake said, My teacher wants you to seduce that Bai Qingling. Don't worry, just listen to what the teacher has to say. As a teacher, I once went to the depths of Bai Qingling's soul consciousness, and met a little girl with a phoenix crown and a Xiaopi, and you look very similar to her. The female voice at the bottom of the frozen lake was silent for a moment, and continued, This is also one of the reasons why I accepted you as a disciple when I was a teacher. Son, you need to know. If you want to get rid of beasts, you must first dedicate yourself to them. I listened to Master's words. The girl's eyes widened, her delicate body trembled unceasingly, and she couldn't speak a word. Let her dedicate herself to one of the most vicious monsters in the rumors, which will make the whole of China panic. How could Master be so cruel? In an instant, she automatically imagined the terrifying appearance of Demon Lord Qingling, with blue eyes and fangs, and blood-colored eyeballs all over her body. I became more and more afraid. Master! Don't! Qian'er dare not! The Demon Lord Qingling is at least over 100 years old, and even the demon cultivators in the East Territory are afraid of him. It can be seen how ugly his appearance is, and Qian'er really can't accept it. You know, Qian'er is still virgin. In an instant, the 16-year-old little princess burst into tears again. Son, you are wrong. I have seen Bai Qingling himself as a teacher. He is not the hideous face you said, on the contrary. Speaking of this, the female voice at the bottom of the frozen lake paused for a long time, as if caught in some kind of memory. After a while, the whole process was gentle and restrained, and the female voice, which was not filled with joy or anger, was actually somewhat astringent. He is very good looking. He is actually the most handsome man I have ever seen in my life. Lin Xian, oh. This chapter is mainly to pave the way for the next big plot, not Shuya, but a small chapter. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Zhi Shi Shui Bao. Chapter 75. Chapter 75. Hot Spring Pool Invitation. She bought a very sexy swimsuit. Please subscribe. Ever since the Fentian Ba Fist was launched to Zhongzhou that night, shaking the orthodox cultivation world. Suddenly, half a month passed. In the past half-month, Bai Feng completely handed over the affairs of Yuluo Palace to Xing. Except for the 3 fierce battles with the latter in the middle, the rest of the time was spent in retreat and practice, planning to break through the Dandan barrier in one fell swoop. Because he released the matter of retreat in advance. During this period, junior sister Yurong and that goddaughter Yehong Ai were extremely well behaved and did not come to disturb them. On the contrary, Mrs. He Siren from the Azura Palace came a few times, but each time, she stayed outside the gate of the Blood Kitchen for a while and then left. For this, Bai Feng felt a little regretful. This Mrs. Ren has done a lot for him, and he is very grateful for it. If she is willing to speak up and behave in a humble manner, he can instill great love for her. Also, it's worth mentioning that during a sweet interaction with Xing in the middle, the eldest disciple Lixiu sent a video through the stealthy Shadowji, reported the undercover situation, and asked about the recent situation of the younger junior sister with concern. And at that time, in the shadows, this innocent little junior sister, who is loved by the 2 senior sisters, is kneeling under the throne, and for him, the master. The gift of master and apprentice is lost here. It's a crime. It's a real crime. However, stimulation, it's really exciting. At that time, Bai Feng was lamenting in his heart, completely unable to control the energy of great love pouring out. This day, on the cold jade bed on the 3rd basement floor of the Blood Kitchen, Bai Feng slowly opened his eyes. Breathing out a stream of pure white air from the mouth, the breath lingered for a long time, and finally condensed into a majestic black dragon phantom with 8 claws in the abdomen, and rushed forward. Bang bang bang. There were loud noises that shook the sky. The phantom of the black flood dragon kept hitting the surrounding walls. After a long time, it finally dissipated. Looking carefully, there are terrifying gaps on the surface of the stone walls made of magic stones, as if they were swallowed by unknown dark forces. Looking at this scene, Bai Feng felt very satisfied. Turn out to be. After half a month of practice, he has broken through the peak of alchemy and entered the next big realm, Faxiang realm, and he is getting closer and closer to the nascent soul realm that is standard for the strong. Once in the realm of Dharma, the monks can hatch various natal Dharma appearances, thus gaining more powerful coercion. And this natal law may be the manifestation of Tao, or it may be the manifestation of a person's physical constitution. Shura Deo will show Shura, and the lacquer body will show the lacquer vase. For example, Han Jiniang, the black silk wife in Shura Palace, because she was the reincarnation of the divine phoenix empress in her previous life, and she carried the body of the immortal divine phoenix, her dharma form was a 7-colored fire phoenix. As for him Qingling demon venerable, his natal form is precisely this mighty and domineering black flood dragon that can devour everything. It's just a dharma form condensed by the devil's breath, and it has such power. When I retrieve the other 4 internal organs and awaken my natal skill Heavenly Demon Transformation Dragon Sutra, the Dharma form and the body are one, what a disaster it will be, the power of the earth. Bai Feng thought about it in his heart, and the corners of his mouth involuntarily raised square root. However, the strange thing is that after breaking my body, not only did my extreme sun demon body not weaken at all, but it became stronger and more powerful. Not only that, but in the original true energy deep in the Danshan, besides the Hoang breath brought by the heart of fire virtue, there is also a part of powerful mysterious yin energy, which is really weird. Could it be because? Bai Feng frowned, suddenly thought of something. That's right. It is precisely because 2 days before the retreat, Xing and I interacted all night on the dream bed, thus copying and accumulating a part of Xing's ghost-controlling spirit body. Ha 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 ha, the baby Xing brought up by this deity is so easy to use. At this moment, the ecstasy in Bai Feng's eyes was even greater, and he almost jumped up. It turned out that in that non-existent predecessor, Bai Qingling's plan was to swallow and fuse Sen Xing's soul alive, so as to obtain her ghost-controlling spirit body. Aside from this method, its own cruelty aside. Even if seeing her soul is swallowed and fused successfully, because the wavelength of her soul is different from her own, an interference and repulsion effect will occur. Obviously, for this, Bai Qingling, the genius of heaven, couldn't think of a better way. However, now he, Bai Feng, has traveled over here, and using the system's golden treasure chest, he opened this magical dream of dreams bed. As long as you practice and interact with your sister paper on this bed, you will be able to obtain the special physique of your sister paper in fusion and collision again and again. Moreover, this method does not capture the girl's own physique, but perfectly copy the essence of it. And sister paper can also get part of it, from the top understanding of his innate formless demon body. In other words, after the interaction, the two will become stronger. This is the real thing, double win. This dreaming waterbed, I thought it was a tasteless object at first, but I didn't expect it to be an out-and-out artifact. Hey, Bai Qingling couldn't get the fusion method in his whole life, but I accidentally obtained it when I was in love with seeing her. Perhaps, this is pure love, the gift it deserves. Mr. System, I am the one who wrongly blamed you. Bai Feng said devoutly in his heart. Yes. From now on, he has discovered a very new way to become stronger. Next, as long as he has a loving interaction with the heroines with extraordinary roots in the original book Immortal Love, it won't be long before he loves someone, and he will gather thousands of powerful physiques into one body. Become the #1 muscle tyrant in the heavens and the world. Thinking of this, Bai Feng felt calm. I have more confidence in the road to the rise of the Demon Lord in the future. He closed his eyes, and was about to recall the various physiques of the heroines of Xianlian. Outside the blood kitchen, the voice of the deacon came. Hall Master, the main altar sent someone to say yes. Several envoys from the Demon Emperor came to visit today and invited our sect to attend the Demonic Dao Alliance conference next month. My Lord Suzerain would like to invite you to discuss this matter. Reply to the envoy of the main altar immediately, and the deity will arrive later. Yes. Palace Master. Inside the blood kitchen, Bai Feng sat on the throne of the Palace Lord, with a puzzled expression on his face. In my mind, I began to recall the game plot. According to the timeline of the original book, after Xiao Chen supported Ye Hong'ai to become the suzerain half a year later, Dongtu will hold this Magic Dao Alliance conference. Furthermore, this alliance seems to be in the name of the Demon Emperor Zhongbaile, but in fact, it is Ji Taimei, the patriarch of the Hehuan sect, who is behind the scenes. And this Ji Taimei has actually been instigated by the Righteous Way long ago, and has become a pawn of Misty Cloud Palace. On the one hand, Ji Taimei keeps sending beauties and treasures, bribing the pleasure-seeking Demon Emperor Zhongbaile. On the other hand, in his name, he holds the Demon Alliance Conference, intending to become the leader of the 8 demon sects, so as to better cooperate with the Righteous Way, completely destroy the demonic Dao. As for the Xiao Chen played by the player, at this point in the plot, there are 2 routes to choose from. The first route, join forces with Ji Taimei, welcome the monks of the Righteous Way to enter the Eastern Land, and completely destroy the evil way. In this route, Xiao Chen has a certain chance to achieve the ending of pure love with Mu Xinlan and capture the strongest heroine in the book, but at the same time, he will lose the favorability of Ye Hong'ai, Han Jiniang and others. And, once this route is chosen, even in the plot of the second expansion film, the hero can no longer be replaced with the third Prince Lin Mo, and he can only be killed as an NPC. As for the second route, it is to help Ye Hong'ai and shatter Ji Taimei's conspiracy. The ending is to kill Mu Xinlan with his own hands, and turn against his childhood sweetheart Lin Xianxian. Lin Mo will also appear as the second male protagonist. So, what is the variable that made the Demonic Dao Alliance conference earlier this time? Could it be that I, the villain who was supposed to receive the box lunch, killed the hero Xiao Chen instead? Bai Feng made the final judgment. Indeed, this is the only explanation. That's all. In the game Xianlian in the previous life, no matter what route you choose, it is impossible to achieve a happy ending in the harem. And right now, this is already a real world based on the plot of the game, and I, Bai Qingling, as the villain of destiny, my choice is naturally. I want it all. In an instant, the magic light in Bai Feng's eyes flickered, and a domineering aura spread out. In the south of Dongtu, the main altar of Hehuanzong. Various red fruit body art paintings are hung in the suzerain hall full of classical atmosphere. A fair-looking and handsome man with grey hair parted in the middle was offering a pot of spirit tea to a young girl in royal attire seated on the seat with a courteous face. Sect Master Ji, you are too enthusiastic, you don't need to drink this tea. Compared to the enthusiasm of the grey-haired man, the girl's expression was a bit cold. Your Royal Highness is Mu Sheng's only high-achieving disciple. How dare our sect neglect you when you come from afar? Ji Taimei, the patriarch of the Hehuan sect, was all smiles, and she did not lose her hospitality. Your Highness, my patriarch is particularly obsessed with the Wu nationality dance in southern Xinjiang recently. How about I dance for you? Sect Master Ji, don't worry about it. The girl's expression was still indifferent. Let's get down to business. Okay. You have the final say. Ji Taimei was taken aback for a moment, and couldn't help but said, I'm a little confused about this serious matter, so I ask your highness to answer one or two questions for me. Tell me, the girl said. Ji Taimei said, I have previously contacted the suzerain of the Misty Cloud Palace of your sect, Layman Tianxin, and according to her instructions, let me plan the Demonic Dao Alliance conference in about a year. At that time, it happened to respond to Mu Sheng. The demon-slaying crusade, and why now? You want to ask, why did you bring this matter up earlier? The girl said coldly. Yes, did something happen? Ji Taimei asked tentatively. The girl was silent for a moment, her eyes were a little red. Nothing happened, it was just an old friend of my highness who was killed by that Bai Qingling. My highness wanted to avenge him earlier. So I begged the master for half a year earlier. Ah, that's how it is. Ji Taimei was thoughtful, then, her brows sank, and she said in a trembling voice, could it be that your highness wants Ji to get rid of Bai Qingling for you? Hey, your highness, to be honest, Ji had some dealings with that Bai Qingling back then, and he knew that this man was very capable and cautious by nature. Without the intervention of Mu Sheng, how difficult it would be to get rid of him. Ji Taimei. The girl's eyes were red, and she gritted her teeth and shouted, how dare you push back? Don't forget. You have already knelt in front of the statue of Nine Heavens profound goddess in my misty cloud palace and swore that you will follow the righteous way from now on, and only my master will obey. But now, you want to go back on your word? Seeing the girl's sudden anger, Ji Taimei also had a bitter expression on her face. Oh, what are you doing? My royal highness, it's not that Ji refuses to obey orders, but that we have to take it step by step, and everything is based on the overall situation. Enough. The girl said coldly, my highness doesn't want to listen to your clichés, and I never thought of letting you, a waste, confront Bai Qingling head on. Brother Xiao Chen's revenge, I, Lin Qianqian, will avenge myself. Oh? So, your highness wants to? Ji Taimei couldn't help asking. My highness wants you. Lin Qinqian's cheeks were slightly red, and she gritted her teeth and said, I want you to dedicate me to that Bai Qingling as a concubine. I want to get close to him, and then, terminate him with my own hands. What? Hearing this, Rao, even the suzerain sect master who has done countless evils and spent countless lives in his life, his eyes widened and his expression was shocked. What? Is this difficult for you? Lin Xianxian said with her eyebrows slightly clustered. No, Ji and Bai Qingling still have an open friendship. If you give him a gift, he will definitely not refuse, but if you give him a woman, he probably won't. Tame sighed, and said, "Hey, tell your highness the truth, a few years ago, I intended to give a cauldron to a woman in Bai Qingling who was carrying a rare holy body, but he rejected it on the spot, whose name is Yun Jin'er, is now the wife of the Shura Hall of the Kangming section." When the word Yun Jin'er was mentioned, anger appeared on his thickly smeared face. After hearing this, Lin Xianxian was stunned for a moment. Then, with a blushing face, he gritted his teeth and said, "Humph, don't worry about it, just do it. My master said so. The white old devil just likes women like my highness." "Yes, yes, yes. Since Mu Shen has spoken, Ji will follow suit." Tame nodded repeatedly, but secretly sighed and shook her head. Bai Feng drove the black dragon chariot all the way, passed through the numerous mountain guard formations in the main altar, and finally came to the conference hall in the center of Kangming Holy Mountain. "I'm waiting to meet Godfather Kangming." Seeing his arrival, the surrounding guards knelt down and saluted one after another. These suzerain guards are all elite selected from the sect, and they only obey the orders of the suzerain alone. On weekdays, even the elders visit, they will not easily salute. But now they put on such a grand welcome. Needless to say, it is naturally the credit of the goddaughter. "Everyone, get up." Looking straight ahead, Bai Feng looked at the majestic and tall conference hall, which looked like a giant, and asked, "Sect Master, are you in the hall?" At this time, a girl with a good figure and appearance, who was completely different from the style of the burly guards around her, came over. "Godfather, can I take a step to speak?" Bai Feng has extraordinary brain power in this life, and he recognized the other party at a glance. It was Kaiyu, Ye Hongai's personal maid when she was the master of the Black Moon Hall. Immediately, he followed the opponent a few steps forward. "Tell me, where is my goddaughter, waiting for her deity?" Bai Feng looked indifferent and straight to the point. "Reporting to the godfather, in fact, the suzerain is not in this conference hall. The reason why she summoned the godfather with the deliberation talisman is to deceive people's eyes and ears," the maid said. "Covering people's eyes and ears." Bai Feng frowned slightly, faintly feeling that the matter was not simple. Then, where is she now? "The suzerain, she is currently waiting for the godfather in the acacia pool in the dormitory of the suzerain." The maid lowered her head and said with a shy expression, "What is this little red dress doing in the hot spring pool? Is this a place for serious business?" Bai Feng was even more puzzled. At this moment, because of witnessing the memories of the affectionate and purely loving demon lord in front of the flame demon tower, all the women in the sect felt less fear and more admiration for this young demon lord. The maid Kaiyu was no exception. I saw her boldly stepping forward, leaning into the young godfather's ear, and quietly added, "By the way, Kaiyu secretly reported the matter to the godfather. My lord, she went to Fangshi to buy a very sexy swimsuit." Bai Feng, oh. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I love the demon lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 76. The full moon hangs high, and the stars are densely covered. Under the guidance of the maid Kaiyu, Bai Feng walked through a large grove of purple bamboos and came to a hot spring pool surrounded by mist. From a distance, he saw a beautiful figure of a slender girl with her back to her. It was the 17-year-old Kangming suzerain, Ye Hong'ai. I saw that my goddaughter took off the heavy and complicated suzerain robe and put on a hollowed-out swimsuit made of ice silk, from which she could see her curvy curves at a glance. Although not as full and charming as junior sister Rong and Mrs. Ren, she still has the unique youthful vigor of a young girl in her prime. At this moment, she was standing in the middle of the pool, with long, wet ice blue hair hanging down to her tight and round buttocks, and further down, a pair of tender white slender legs submerged in the pool. Jade feet. Baifeng couldn't help admiring. In all fairness, he is not a foot control. However, after traveling through this world, I found that the girls around me are all leg savvy. Even Singer's petite stature has a pair of perfectly proportioned white legs. Among these heroines, Mrs. Ren is naturally the most beautiful leg. The red dress in front of him belongs to the same class as Lingyan and Lixu. Godfather, the suzerain seems to have not noticed that you came in. How about I pass it on for you? The maid Kaiyu said. No need, you step back. Baifeng waved his hand, and added, by the way, seal this apse, and no one will be allowed to enter no matter what noises there will be. Follow the will of the Godfather. Baifeng walked forward slowly. Gently submerged in the pool, came to the back of the goddaughter, close to her buttocks. At this moment, he could even smell the fragrance of the other party's hair. However, maybe it's because his immemorial containing breath technique is too powerful, even at such a close distance, the opponent still didn't notice his arrival. Looking down at the blue-haired beautiful girl in front of him, Baifeng was somewhat distracted. At this moment, he only needs to wave his arms a little, and he can embrace her slender body in his arms. Cough cough. After weighing it, Baifeng chose to clear his throat on purpose to remind the other party. Ah! Yehong Ai's pretty face was startled, she groaned softly, and quickly turned around. It is to see a generous chest like a copper wall and an iron wall, and a pale handsome face with chiseled features. Teach the Godfather. After a while, she calmed down, lifted her flushed face slightly, and gave a shy cry. Baifeng nodded lightly. Hong Ai, I haven't seen you for half a month, and your cultivation has improved a little. I'm afraid it's only half a step away from the completion of the alchemy period. After hearing this, Yehong Ai's eyes flashed with joy, and the corners of his mouth also raised slightly. At this moment, she suddenly found out. The joy of being affirmed by this godfather actually surpassed that when he was praised by his father and grandfather in the past. Okay, Hong Ai, you should know that this deity's time is precious. Say it straight. The godfather who summoned you, why did you choose to meet in such a place? As Baifeng spoke, he tried his best to keep his gaze away from the girl's body. In fact, he was the old driver of Love Saint in his previous life. From Yehong Ai's expression and tonight's attire, he can basically guess a thing or two. She intends to give this future queen of Demon Dao for nothing. In short, we still have to figure out the situation now. Don't lie to the godfather. The blush faded from Yehong Ai's cheeks, and he said solemnly, it is true that Hong Ai summoned the godfather to discuss important matters. Does godfather know that the demon emperor sent an envoy to visit today? Well, I heard about it. Baifeng raised his eyebrows lightly, it's about the Demonic Dao Alliance conference. Right. Yehong Ai frowned slightly, and said, don't the godfather think this is strange? Since the defeat in the Second War of Righteousness and Demons, in the past few hundred years, the 8 major demon sects have been separated from each other, and have never sat together to discuss any cooperation matters. Now, it is rumored in Middle-earth that Muzinlanet is about to be born, and the third battle between good and evil is imminent, and at this juncture, the Devil Emperor suddenly arranged this matter. There must be something tricky in it. You're right, it's a conspiracy. Baifeng said lightly, it's just that the mastermind behind the conspiracy is not the puppet demon emperor, but someone else. Ah! Yehong Ai was slightly surprised. Who is it? Maybe the godfather said it clearly. It's useless now that you know. Baifeng raised his eyebrows. Let's think about how to respond, my lord. So. Yehong Ai tentatively said, does the godfather think we should participate in this alliance meeting? Are you asking the deity? Feng smiled but wasn't smiling. The red clothes are naturally asking the Godfather. Ye Hong I lowered his head and said. The demon emperor's envoy arrived at dawn, and you didn't summon the deity until then. Obviously, you didn't regard the deity as the most trusted person. Speak seriously. You have no respect for my Godfather at all. This time, it doesn't matter if you don't come. After finishing speaking, Bai Feng turned around with a flick of his sleeves, and put on a familiar face of a cold demon. The other side. The suzerain of the beautiful girl with a stronger nature, instead of being angry, panicked, the Godfather may have misunderstood, Hong I. Hong I is not distrusting you, but... Okay, don't need to say much. Bai Feng waved his hand, and looked at the other party coldly again. You have probably met some people at this moment. Let's talk about it. How do the Grand Masters of your Ye family, and your own uncle, the green-haired turtle, look at this matter, Hall Master Ren? Under this pair of gazes that seemed to be able to penetrate the soul. Ye Hong I knew that he couldn't hide it, so he could only tell the truth. The several princes are conservative people, tending to follow the devil's order and participate in the alliance meeting. As for uncle, when mentioning that cowardly and incompetent uncle, Ye Hong I looked a little depressed. He has an attitude of indifference. It's okay, it doesn't count if he said it. At this point in the conversation, Bai Feng suddenly became interested. Where is that, your charming aunt? What did she say? Style. Thousands of styles. Ye Hong I chewed on these 4 words, and his face became a little ugly. Mrs. Ren has made great contributions to our sect these years, please respect her from the Godfather. Tisk, I'm afraid she'll be so happy when she hears me praise her for being so charming. Bai Feng murmured in his heart. I can't help but recall in my mind, the scene of acupuncture and moxibustion for the black silk wife that day, suppressing the poison of love goo. That battle. It is even more spectacular than the flooding of Jinshan Temple by the White Lady in the previous life. Godfather. What did you say? Ye Hong I didn't hear clearly, her ice blue eyes stared round with vigilance. No, nothing. Bai Feng quickly got back to the topic. So, Madame Ren's answer. Ye Hong I said, and, no, Mrs. Ren actually shares the same opinion as the Godfather. She said that the Demon King seems to be the leader of the Demon Alliance Conference, but in fact, Ji Taimei, the patriarch of the Acacia sect, is behind the scenes. Well, when she was young, she was a candidate saintess of the Hehuan section. It is normal to find out the clues of Ji Taimei's collusion with the righteous way. Bai Feng said thoughtfully. Yes. Ye Hong I said, Mrs. Ren wants the suzerain to agree to the invitation of the conference, and she wants to attend the conference as the representative of Kangming. Not only that. Speaking of this, her eyes were a little puzzled. Mrs. Ren asked many times, Godfather, what do you think of this matter, and said, if Godfather agrees, she hopes to go with you. So, what advice does the Godfather have? After finishing speaking, she secretly looked at the man in front of her, waiting for his answer. However, what she never expected was that the Godfather, who seldom interfered in sect affairs, nodded readily. No problem. This matter is settled. Bai Feng patted the goddaughter's shoulder, and a rare smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. As the Godfather of Kangming, I can't miss such a meeting that concerns the face of the section. Hong I, leave this matter to me and Mrs. Ren. Compared with this so-called magic conference, what you need to do now is to consolidate the internal order of the sect and improve your own prestige. You know, that Mrs. Ren is the reincarnation of the divine Phoenix Empress of the upper realm. If he could interact with her through the dreaming dream bed, copy the essence of her immortal phoenix body, and pair it with his innate phaseless demon body with strong regeneration ability, maybe an immortal body would be born. The ultimate bodily avenue. Thinking of this, Bai Feng was even more excited. If so, during the decisive battle with Muse Inlan, he was able to bear the opponent's 9 tribulations of yin and fire, and directly severely injured his weak mortal body, completely changing his fate against the sky. At this time, ding! You got a new mission. Mission objective: conquer the representatives of the 8 demonic sects and become the leader of the demonic Deo. Mission reward: brilliant treasure chest X1. Bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, brilliant. Failure penalty: none. I rely on. Well, thank you Godfather for teaching me. Hong I understands. Yeah, Hong I nodded, and was about to say something, but saw the tall and burly shadow, turned around and left. The strides of meteors, without the slightest souvenir. In an instant, the 17-year-old female suzerain felt sour in her heart, and felt a sense of frustration that she had never felt before. After a second of hesitation, she bit her lip, and finally couldn't help shouting, "Bai Ching, Godfather, please stay." Bai Feng paused and turned around. Is to see the center of the sparkling pool. The girl dragged her ice blue wet long hair, and walked ashore step by step with a pair of beautiful bare feet with graceful arches. At this moment, the bright moonlight poured over her body, as if covering her with a layer of holy silver light, which was so beautiful. The Godfather. It seemed that he had sensed the man's fiery eyes, and remembering that he was his godfather, Yehong I felt ashamed and quickly lowered his head. The two were separated by several feet, looking at each other from a distance. Both of them were silent. The atmosphere became a little anxious. After a long time of inner struggle, the girl straightened up again, crossed her arms, and lifted her breasts just right. Under the specially cut hollow swimsuit, the snow-white gully was clearly visible. Then, she bravely raised her head. Looking directly at the complex and charming older man in the distance who killed the tiger with a flick of his finger and helped her sit on the throne with his own strength, he was domineering and cold, but also deeply affectionate for his childhood sweetheart. An inexplicable emotion that she had never felt before surged into her heart. She opened her lips and teeth, and still shouted, "Godfather! Didn't you really notice that Hong I is a little different today?" Not even a little bit. After all, perhaps she was extremely ashamed in her heart. The girl's cheeks were all red, she buried her head extremely low, and her expression was extremely humble. At this moment, she doesn't look like a high-spirited young suzerain, like a young girl who is in love and waiting for a response from the person she likes. However, she waited a long time. The man in the distance still didn't respond. Just when she thought that this admiration would never be answered, and that everything tonight was just self-indulgence, that tall and burly phantom had arrived behind her at some point. Immediately afterwards, a pair of strong, big hands encircled her slender waist from behind. White Palace Lord. At this moment, being embraced by a man presumptuously, her bright and pretty face with profound features and exotic amorous feelings glowed with an intoxicating blush like a sunset glow. Half of the heart is resisting, but half is full of inexplicable expectations. Hall Master Bai. It must be so. In the end, rationality still took over her brain, and she tried her best to show the aura of suzerain, and softly reprimanded. She said so. The body in the hot swimsuit that exposed most of the skin, leaned back into the man's arms involuntarily. Yes, she, who lacked the love of her father since she was a child, longed for such a broad and strong embrace. As a result, every time she saw that little sister Singer slipping into the arms of the Godfather and acting like a baby, she would feel a strange jealousy. No. It will never go on like this. Sister Lingian said it. This man is best at mind control and playing tricks on people's hearts. This is how Sister Singer fell into it. Yehong I, will never follow in this footsteps. Just when the heaven and man were at war in the girl's mind, a gentle and loving male voice sounded in her ear. Little Hung Ai, if you feel that the title of Godfather seems unfamiliar and awkward, you can also call him Father. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 77. Chapter 77. A Girl's First Love Confession. I felt those gentle and thick hands walking on the bare skin on the surface of my swimsuit. Ye Hong Ai's face was flushed red, her small mouth was slightly pursed, and she exhaled like blue. Godfather, please respect yourself. The red dress is your goddaughter. In the secular sense, you are no different from my father. Don't do this. This is against human relations. Is it against human ethics? Bai Feng raised his eyebrows, then my Hong Yujiang, wearing such a hot swimsuit, summoned your godfather late at night in this hot spring pool, is that reasonable? He looked upright at the moment. Because, he knew that he was helping the other party. So he increased the strength of his wrist, and walked all the way from the opponent's Tanzong point and Tiantu point to the Shenk point where the sea of energy was. At the same time, the body of the blue-haired beautiful girl in her arms convulsed, her beautiful eyes became blurred, and her cheeks flushed again and again. How is it? How about the Godfather's massage technique? Bai Feng said very seriously, have you noticed that in the Danshan, the chaotic and violently wandering true energy has completely escaped from the body? Ah! After hearing this, Ye Hong Ai suddenly woke up. Then, he quickly closed his eyes and took a look inside. A pair of ice blue eyes suddenly showed shock. It was exactly as the man in front of him said. During this period of time, the stagnant true energy that has been bothering her all the time has completely disappeared without a trace. Godfather, this. Ye Hong Ai's beautiful eyes widened, she turned her head to look at the tall man who was clinging to her, and said with flushed cheeks, what did you do? Using your unimaginable massage techniques, the deity sorted out all the chi meridians and 8 meridians, and only then did I find the source of the turbulent flow and clear it out. In the whole world, there is no one else who can do this except this deity. Is it true? Godfather. After hearing this, Ye Hong Ai's beautiful eyes flickered, and her expression became even more incredible. Turn out to be. The ancestors of her Ye family, thousands of years ago, were the ice people who lived on the northern ice sheet of Yunzhou. Together with sister Lingyan's Tantai family, they were listed as the 4 ancient clans of Yunzhou. Ever since the generation of Kangming patriarch Ye Hongtian migrated to the inland, because he was not used to the hot and humid heaven and earth aura here, every time he breaks through the realm, there will always be a violent chi in his body, rampaging in his body, the pain is unbearable. And for this, the ancestors of all dynasties are helpless. I can only endure in silence until the ball of true energy is automatically shattered and dissipated. And now, the man behind him actually said that he could solve this cultivation problem for himself once and for all. This deity has never spoken nonsense in his life, let alone cheating on women. Bai Feng said lightly, and his expression suddenly became serious, be patient, I have found the last turbulence, and I will completely eliminate it for you. After finishing speaking, he clings to the girl's back again, puts his palms together, and twists his fingers together, turning into 10 beams of light, swimming on the acupuncture point on the girl's body where the sea of energy is located. And this suddenly closes the distance. It also directly caused him to sag the girl's firm and protruding buttocks. Bai Feng felt a little hot in his head. Fortunately, the goddaughter in front of her at this moment has completely trusted her. Not only did he give up resisting, but he took the initiative to raise Yubai's slender arms to cooperate with his massage. After some arduous massage therapy. Following the suzerain of the 17-year-old beautiful girl, her vermilion lips were slightly parted, and a cloud of purple-black air was exhaled with blurred eyes. Bai Feng retreated to the side in a gentlemanly manner, okay, congratulations to Sect Master Ye, you don't have to worry about such stubborn illnesses anymore. Feeling the unobstructed aura in his dantian, Ye Hong Ai was pleasantly surprised, but also a little guilty. The man in front of her was trying her best to solve her problems and get rid of her stubborn illnesses, yet she even put on airs and scolded him just now. She, Ye Hong Ai, is simply in vain for a woman. It's not right to be the suzerain in vain. In an instant, crystal clear teardrops glistened in her icy blue eyes. No longer caring about it, she bowed down to the man in front of her and said, "Red clothes, thanks Godfather." "Okay, you don't have to thank me. This deity is left alone by your grandfather, so it should be natural, and I will try my best to help you," Baifeng said with a righteous face. At this moment, from the angle of his overlooking, this goddaughter in a hollow sexy swimsuit is squatting on the ground, and the snow-white scenery is unobstructed. At this moment, the long-lost electronic voice sounded in my mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host. Successful infusion of great love. Target, Ye Hong Ai. You got points, add 5,000. Current points, 95,000. Baifeng couldn't help feeling puzzled. Huh? It's really strange. During the previous retreat period, I had countless in-depth interactions with Senior. Unless I unlock something more heaven-defying, the points will be added very little. But now, it's just a massage for Hong Yi, and you can easily get 5,000 points. Could it be that the dog system intends to encourage me to interact with more heroines? He was calculating in his mind. The blue-haired beautiful girl in front of her stood up and took his hand. "Godfather, before I know it, it's been a while since we met for the first time at the back mountain of Black Moon Hall. Hong Ai will never forget that day." In the snowy sky, the godfather firmly patted Hong Ai on the shoulder and asked Hong Ai if he wanted to be the suzerain. He also said that he would work with Hong Ai to revive the sect and let Kang Mingzong is great again. That kind of domineering look is something Hong Yi has never seen in her entire life. Holding the hand of this man who is like a teacher and a father, but dare not look at him at all. The girl lowered her head, her cheeks were slightly red, and she continued to confide in her thoughts. At that time, Hong Yi only thought that the godfather was an arrogant person, and he didn't dare to believe it easily until on the day of the suzerain conference, I saw the godfather slaying the tiger with his fingers, and shocked the audience. He helped Hong Yi to the suzerain position with one hand. At that moment, Hong Ai only felt like a dream, as if he was dreaming. You know, before the general election started, the godfather didn't come to Hong Ai, nor did he discuss the details with Hong Ai, but you were alone in the dark, making complete preparations. Although Hong Ai is not very old, because he was sent down by his father to work in the hall early, he has come into contact with all kinds of people. Among them, there are too many aristocrats who pursue red clothes and come from extraordinary families. Their glib, ordinary, and confident faces really make me sick. So, I began to be disappointed with the men in this world and decided to find a sister. Stay together for the rest of my life. But I didn't expect that. At the age of 17, I met you, the godfather. You are always taciturn, talk less and do more, where others can't see, you are working hard, taking care of the overall situation, silently supporting Hong Ai. Before you appeared, there was no other man in this world other than Grandpa, who treated me so generously. You broke Hong Yi's view of men in this world. It also satisfies all Hong Ai's imagination of a man. As she spoke, the girl's eye sockets were completely red. I can't help myself. She took the man's arm, and for the first time in her life, she let go of her pride and sank into a man's arms without any defense. At this moment, she felt the most down-to-earth warmth. It's Miss Lingyan, who is so smart, she can't even give her a sense of security. Baifeng listened quietly. He loves someone, he has been a human being in 2 lifetimes, and he is an exquisite egoist in his bones. He is not a person who is infatuated with his children. But at this moment, seeing the girl's sincerity, I was a little moved in my heart. Ye Hong Ai continued with tears in his eyes, after the general election, Hong Ai has been admiring you for a long time. During that time, I always wanted to go to Yoluo Palace, get closer to you, and let you know more about Hong Ai. But, Hong Ai is proud by nature, and he has become the suzerain again, so he can't let go of this face. This kind of entangled situation lasted until the day of the trial of the Flame Demon Tower. The girl chattered, looking at the night sky, her eyes moved, as if a certain memory was once again affected. On that day, I witnessed the past of the Godfather with my own eyes, and saw your affection and righteousness. I was on the throne of the suzerain, and I couldn't help crying. I even wanted to travel back to the past and hug the Godfather in my youth. This time, I completely understand that even Miss Lingian's words may not be all right. My Godfather must be a man of great love who is cold on the outside and hot on the inside. Thus, Hong Ai wanted to get closer to the Godfather again. However, on the day of the public trial of Xiao Chen, after the meeting adjourned, seeing the Godfather surrounded by a group of women, Hong Ai fell into entanglement again. Now, finally, Hong Ai plucked up the courage and invited the Godfather to meet here alone. It is to discuss a matter with the Godfather. Ye Hong Ai's cheeks were flushed red, with a pair of beautiful bare feet, she stood on tiptoe slightly, and said in the man's ear, "It's a private matter between me and the Godfather, regardless of the overall situation of the section. Godfather, do you know? In fact, before my father passed away, he left a will, letting Hong Ai be with you and you. Maybe it was because she felt that she was too active." Speaking of this, the girl lowered her head in embarrassment, but was unable to speak. "It doesn't matter, since Hong Ai has said so, this deity is willing to spend some time." Baifeng stretched out his hand and rubbed the girl's hair, "But before that, let me show you a treasure." "Ah!" Ye Hong Ai's beautiful eyes froze, puzzled. With a wave of his hand, Baifeng summoned a crystal clear and spacious water bed from the storage space of the system. It was just a while ago that he and Xing'er had left countless battle records, Huimeng and immortal desire to bed. "Talk, you can talk. We, father and daughter, will sit here tonight and have a good, thorough talk," Baifeng said with a loving face, and while the girl was in a daze, he put one hand under her calf and hugged her directly by the waist. "Call. The night wind blows." The girl's ice blue hip-length hair was loose and brushed straight towards his face. "Wow, she smells so sweet, just like Xing'er." At this moment, Baifeng felt a burst of fiery affection in his heart. The devil's blood began to boil. At the same time, outside the suzerain palace, a beautiful girl dressed in white snow, with an ethereal air, stepped on a magic piano, and landed steadily in front of the gate. The surrounding suzerain guards immediately stepped forward and saluted, "I pay my respects to Guardian Tantai. Is the suzerain in there?" Tantai Lingian frowned beautifully and asked eagerly. All the guards looked at me and I looked at you, all of them looked hesitant and did not dare to answer presumptuously. After all, the Sovereign Lord and the Godfather who covered the sky with one hand have all ordered it one after another. No matter what the situation is tonight, no one will be allowed in. This protector asked you something, why didn't you answer? Sensing something different, Tantai Lingian looked cold and serious, and asked sharply. Perhaps it is the sister who knows that this Tantai Dharma protector has a relationship with the suzerain that is far beyond ordinary. The headed guard gritted his teeth, and still stepped forward and whispered, "Report to Protector Tantai, Lord Suzerain, I have explained that tonight she will be in secluded cultivation and will not see outsiders. Retreat and cultivate." Tantai Lingian's round and soft eyes flashed a trace of doubt, didn't the red dress just break through the middle stage of alchemy? Why is it closed again? It doesn't matter, this Dharma protector really has something important to do this time. This matter is related to the safety of the sect, you wait to get out of the way. Tantai Lingian glared angrily, 3,000 blue hairs fluttered in the wind, she was a completely different person from the usual gentle lady. She looks like a real Uluidian witch. Hey! Guardian! It's not that we don't let you in. It's true. The headed protector looked troubled, and finally decided to say the man's name. The godfather is inside to discuss important matters with the suzerain. What? Hearing the man mentioned by the other party, Tantai Lingian's face turned pale, and the aura she had just now was swept away. He by palace master, why is he here? She asked shakily. Seeing all the guards faltering, they couldn't explain why. She gritted her teeth, plucked the strings with her slender and beautiful fingers, and flicked out terrifying sound waves, forcing a hole in the barrier at the gate. Then, while the guards were still in shock, she flashed and rushed over. Master! You have any scheming plans, please come to Lingian boldly. She in red has a pure nature, and she doesn't distinguish between good and evil, so don't try to harm her. The next little branch line is very exciting. The Green Hat Turtle will die, and the protagonist will stage a classic widow's play with Mrs. Ren. Junior sister Ranjita will also fully integrate with pure love. Stay tuned. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 78. Chapter 78. Double Happiness. The Lord of Flower Palace joins late at night. Ah, it's so itchy, my body has become strange. What is that man doing to Hong Yi? Passing through a piece of purple bamboo forest, I came to the side of the acacia pool. From a distance, she just saw it. The best friend of the suzerain was lying with a burly man in a black robe on a strange big bed that was crystal clear like running water. But it's not hard to guess. You know, Tantai Lingian is not a little girl like Senior who knows nothing about the world. In the middle of the night, by the hot spring pool, lonely men and widows. Could it be something else serious? Tantai Lingian's eyes were red, and her heart hurt like a needle prick. What made her feel even more desperate and unacceptable was, not only did the best friend who made the mirror flower contract with her not show the slightest disgust, but she held her cheeks, her beautiful eyes were blurred, and her face was full of intoxication. You in red. I didn't expect you to betray our oath so simply. I might be able to accept it if it was another man, but why, it's him. Seeing this scene, Tantai Lingian bit her lower lip tightly, tears streaming from her eyes. The next moment, she suddenly realized something in her heart. My sadness at the moment doesn't seem to come entirely from the betrayal of my best friend, but the man who was pressing on his best friend turned out to be the master who single-handedly brought him up. Tantai protects the law, her beautiful eyes are dull, and her legs are like lead. At this moment, she didn't even have the courage to stop the two of them. Listening to the increasingly strange conversation between the two, Tantai Lingian was also blushing, her heart beating faster. I really didn't expect that Hong Yi turned out to be this kind of girl. The teacher respected him even more. You two, one is the master of the sect, and the other is the master of a palace. Your courtesy, righteousness, and shame will be completely destroyed. She condemned in her heart, and clenched her fists so tightly that her nails were embedded in her flesh. However, even so, out of some strange psychology, she did not choose to show up, nor did she intend to leave. Instead, he took another step forward lightly. The conversation between the two came again. In an instant, Protector Tantai clenched the dagger at his waist, and his eyes were burning with blazing hatred and hatred. Just when she was hesitating, whether to show up and stop the two of them, the conversation between the two came again. Ha ha! The Godfather's massage technique is really powerful. My suzerain, no, Hong Yi feels comfortable all over at this moment, as if she has been completely reborn. The girlfriend said with a smile, and finally returned to her usual normal tone. Of course, this is thanks to your sister Lingyan. That day in Huangxianke, after pulling out the poison for her massage, the deity's massage technique has been directly upgraded to LV99. What 99? It's nothing, it's not important. Hear hear. Tantai Lingyan was completely dumbfounded. It turns out that the two of you are not doing strange things, but just having a massage. No wonder this feeling seems familiar. So, I misunderstood that man again. At this moment, Tantai Lingyan felt mixed feelings. I am happy, but feel ashamed of my previous malicious speculation. At this moment, a deep male voice came. Lingyan, how long do you plan to wait and see? Come here soon. It's him. It's that man. It turned out that he had discovered himself a long time ago. Feel the familiar sense of oppression. Tantai Lingyan trembled all over. The next moment, she pushed aside the bushes and walked out, revealing her real body. After making enough mental preparations, she raised her eyes and looked over. I saw my girlfriend in red, wearing a sexy and hot swimsuit she had never seen before, sitting gracefully by the pool, looking at her with a smile. And the man who raised her single-handedly stood beside her girlfriend like a sky tower. At this moment, he was looking at her lovingly, and stretched out his right hand to her. That gesture, as if inviting her to join? Master, how did you know that Lingyan is here? She tried her best to calm down, and stared directly at the tall phantom in front of her with a pair of round and soft eyes. Lingyan, don't forget that Master's prime ancient containing breath technique not only can store chi, but also bless the absolute chi sensation, which can easily lock the chi within a radius of 100 feet. Looking at the usually gentle and dignified second disciple showing such panic, Bai Feng deliberately softened his tone. What he said is really true. He originally planned to have something to do with Hong Yujiang in exchange for great love points, which can be exchanged for the Huake treasure box as soon as possible. You know, the golden treasure chest can draw out such a practical treasure as the Dreaming Dream and Immortal Desire bed, which is 3 realms higher in splendor. However, not long after he took out the water bed. Then he was keenly aware of Tantai Lingyan's invading aura. After weighing it for a while, he had no choice but to stop, put aside the original ghost, Abba, benevolent father plan, and changed it to massage and massage. This is not because he is afraid that the second disciple will feel hatred towards him, but because Bai Feng always had a feeling in his heart. The two sisters should have a place in the list of 10 female users on Mo Junqingling's Yumanjiak Xian bed. In other words, sooner or later, he will have double the happiness. There is no rush. Well, of course Lingyan knows. Tantai Lingyan nodded, but then lowered her head blushing, not knowing what to say. Indeed, what else can be said? The two of them were talking intimately, while I was hiding in the grass and peeping. This is a low-level act. Just when she was having trouble with herself. The best friend in red at the side greeted her very intimately, held her hand, and said, by the way, Miss Lingyan, let me tell you. The massage technique of your godfather, your master, is really good. It's amazing. Do you want to try it? At this time, she had already recognized the character of her godfather. Naturally, I also hope that my best friend can get to know this silent and introverted man who is not good at expressing love again, and she will let go of her previous suspicions with him. This. Tantai Lingyan blushed, as Master said just now, Lingyan has already tried it before. No, the technique of being a teacher at that time was far less skillful than it is now. Bai Feng also echoed, walked over, and held the second disciple's other hand. Let's go, since it's the suzerain's intention, I will give you another hand massage. Okay, okay. Godfather, you must show the way you treated Hong Ai just now, and let Sister Lingyan taste the feeling of wanting to be immortal and completely unable to control herself. Hong Ai looked excited, and couldn't wait to take his best friend's arm, and pressed her on the bed of Huimeng Yuxian. Tantai Lingyan wanted to refuse aloud, but under the kind invitation of her best friend and master, she swallowed her words back. I had to sit obediently on the bed. Master still massages the backside. Gradually, she is also from the outside to the inside, producing a refreshing and pleasant pleasure. Her cheeks gradually turned red, and her beautiful eyes, which were widened with vigilance, also showed a blurred color. Soon, her whole body completely surrendered to the dominance of those thick hands. Wow, Suzun-san looks so cute like this. It's the first time I've seen her who is serious and dignified on weekdays, showing such a gesture. At this moment, the blue-haired beautiful girl Hong Ai saw it in her eyes, but there was an inexplicable excitement in her heart. Hot springs, moonlit nights, and Lily sisters. He received 5,000 points from the system again. And the second apprentice, Ling Yin, was also limp on the Huimeng Xianyu bed with a contented expression. Haha, Sister Ling Yin, Hong Ai didn't lie to you, did she? Do you want to die? Can't stop. Hong Ai lay down next to her girlfriend with a smile on her face, and mischievously removed the latter's dignified bun. Her long black hair like a waterfall fell down. Under the moonlight, it contrasted with her long ice blue hair. Way. Not bad, not bad. Looking at it this way, my ringtone is quite feminine. Seeing two beautiful girls with their own charms lying side by side in front of him, Baifeng felt a little bit at ease. Master. Sovereign. Maybe something important was hidden in her heart. Tantai Lingyan tried her best to regain her sobriety, and muttered in her mouth, Lingyan is here today, and indeed she has a major report concerning the safety of the section. Hearing this, Hong Ai raised eyebrows, restrained her girlish nature, sat upright and said solemnly, Sister Lingyan, what happened? Tantai Lingyan sat up and said solemnly, just yesterday, the newly appointed head of the Black Moon Hall, Sidu Liang, disappeared mysteriously on his way to Black Moon City to collect the annual offerings. That Sidu Liang was just a Black Moon Hall and an incense master back then. We sisters supported us alone. He is cautious and reliable in his work. His disappearance is definitely not easy. So, Ling Yin speculates that the matter might have been done by members of the four major families of Black Moon City. If that's the case, it means. Speaking of this, Tantai Ling Yin took a deep breath, her little face turned pale. Hey, this is true, I really dare not make a judgment lightly. What do you mean? Sister Ling Yin can just speak up? The suzerain of the red-clothed book believes in you. Hong Ai asked eagerly. When she was the head of the Black Moon Hall in the past, she made a lot of contributions with this best friend, and she has long been impressed by her knowledge and insight. However, Tantai Lingyan still showed embarrassment and refused to speak. Just when the two sisters were deadlocked, an indifferent voice that was not angry and arrogant came. Lingyan, you are the direct disciple of this deity, what in this world can make you afraid? The bastards in Black Moon City used to be the vassals of Taoist Tiger. Now that Tiger is dead, they want to rebel. Isn't that a logical fact? The two women's hearts were shocked, and they looked together. That is, under the moonlight, a tall and heroic shadow slowly walked over. Hong Ai, according to the sex constitution, this matter should have been handed over to Beihutang for investigation and disposal. However, Sidu Liang has probably been killed. As his old boss and the master of the dark, you have to do something yourself. You have just succeeded as the suzerain, and your foundation is not stable. The entire Kangming sect, the inner and outer sects, and all the forces are watching the abilities and means of your new suzerain. You know, people in the Devil's Way have always been afraid of power and not virtuous. You just took care of this matter to establish your prestige, understand? After hearing this, Ye Hong Ai's eyes were blazing, and he nodded heavily, "Thank you Godfather for teaching. Hong Ai understands it." Bai Fen nodded, and looked at Tantai Lingian beside him. "Lingian, tell me what we should do next." In fact, the rebellion of the four major families in Black Moon City, this hugely rewarding branch plot, will only be triggered in the middle and late stages after killing the little boss Tiger Taoist. It is also in this branch line that the player played by Xiao Chen captures the pair of Lily sisters. However, in this timeline of the real world, because he killed someone in advance, he crushed the tiger to death in advance, which caused the four major families of Black Moon City to rebel in advance. Tantai Lingian was slightly taken aback, and then said respectfully, "Report to Master, according to Lingian's humble opinion, if the four major families really have the intention of rebelling, we have to deploy a strategy now and call the people from the 10 halls. Elite disciples, prepare for counterinsurgency matters, and if necessary, you can also use the suzerain's warrant to mobilize the Hall Master Hua and the Hall Master's people to act as a follow-up at any time. At the same time, we will also send envoys from the main altar to spy on the internal situation in the city while stabilizing the four major families. There must be no sloppy in the whole process. After all, the Black Moon City is the Kangming section among the hundreds of vassal forces, it is one of the best existences. Among the four major families, there are several Yuanyingsu elders sitting in the town. The wife of the seventh young master of the Tang family even defected from Misty Cloud Palace. The former chief saintess, her strength is unfathomable. You're right, but... Bai Feng chuckled lightly, "It's too troublesome." Ah! The two girls looked at each other with astonishment. In my opinion, to quell the chaos in Black Moon City, we don't have to do anything, just follow the trend and use our strength to fight. Bai Feng said lightly. This. Ye Hong Ai was shocked. If it was before, she would definitely feel how arrogant this man is. But now, after seeing the Godfather's despotic means of killing tigers with snapping fingers, uncovering traitor Xiao Chen, and saving the sect from fire and water, she just wants to say one thing at this moment. Please Godfather, teach me. The 17-year-old beautiful girl sovereign jumped off the water bed, bowed down to the man in front of him meticulously. Tantai Lingian on the side also bit her lip, then knelt down, "Listen to Master's instruction. Listen well, this deity will teach you to dismantle them one by one. First of all, among the four major families in Black Moon City, the one with the largest number of people is the group of Kunlun slaves. For these people, all we have to do is 4 words. Bai Fen narrowed his eyes and said word by word. Empty magazine. Ye Hong Ai. Tantai Lingian. Bai Feng cleared his throat, and was about to elaborate, when suddenly, an urgent voice came from outside. Sovereign, Godfather. Master Hua, she broke in. Strict statement. This book does not deal with race knights. The idea of the Kunlun tribe originated from the Kunlun slaves of the Tang dynasty. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 79. Chapter 79. Pure love is the best. Second first kiss. It's strange, junior sister Wrong-er, why did you kill me so late at night? Bai Feng frowned, vaguely feeling that the matter was not simple. Calmly put away the dreaming fairy bed. He also ordered Tantai Lingian to help Ye Hong Ai change into clothes. Only then did he calmly wait for the woman's arrival. Call out. A gust of yin and cold evil spirit suddenly arrived, covering the entire audience. Both Ye Hong Ai and Tantai Lingian tightened their bodies unconsciously, and took a few steps back. But Bai Feng stood still. His demon body was already strong, but now that he has found his heart again, this level of evil spirit has no effect on him in the slightest. Soon, a woman with a proud figure in a milky white skirt appeared in the sight of the three of them. "Senior brother Qingling, you are indeed here." Hua Yuerong looked at her senior brother without blinking in her beautiful eyes, and said infatuatedly, "That's right, the deity is discussing with the suzerain about quelling the turmoil in Black Moon City. Wrong. Do you want to join the discussion?" Baifeng said flatly, and took the initiative to walk towards his junior sister. "Brother, I..." Seeing her first love getting closer and closer to her, Hua Yuerong's vermilion lips parted slightly, her plump and proud breasts heaved up and down. "Seems extremely nervous." Yehong Ai and Tantai Lingyin on the side looked at the scene and glanced at each other, their eyes were filled with astonishment. You know, even though both of them are high-ranking members of the Kangming sect, it's okay to call each other brothers and sisters. But the point is, this embroidered face saintess, who has always been cold and withdrawn, does not like to deal with outsiders, but now she is so shy in front of another hall master, I am afraid. The godfather/master is really charming, the two girls thought at the same time. "It's okay, junior sister Wrong, since you're here, let us two hall masters sit down together and solve problems for the suzerain." Baifeng showed a slight smile, walked over, and took the well-maintained, soft, and tender hands of his junior sister. He was very clear. This junior sister Wrong was extremely possessive when she was a child, and now that she has become the master of one party, it is even worse. Therefore, she appeared here tonight, only because she learned about the secret meeting between him and Yehong Ai, and came to declare her sovereignty. In other words, the current situation is the legendary Shuro field. However, he fell in love with someone, but he was not the good-for-nothing Asahi male protagonist in the love story in the previous life. In his eyes, there is no Shuro field, only a loving family. Demon Lord Kingling's harem does not allow such an awesome woman. No further questions were asked. Baifeng scored twice, and once again called out the Huamengyuxian bed, pinned his junior sister's arm, and forced her to sit down. Have to say, after 100 years, this little junior sister of my family has really grown up. Not only the scenery on the chest. Even the arms are sensual and soft, with an excellent touch, not at all comparable to the red dress and the ringtone, which is comparable to this kind of young girl. Lingyin, please tell us about the disappearance of Sidu Liang from the Black Moon Hall and the current situation of the four major families in Black Moon City, one by one, to Master Hua. After speaking, Baifeng looked at the goddaughter beside him. The latter came over obediently and sat beside him. Tantai Lingyin hesitated for a long time, but also sat down. Just like that, three beauties with their own charm sat on the dreaming waterbed at the same time. Under the moonlight, they looked like an incomparably glamorous scene. Next, Tantai Lingyin briefly described the situation in Black Moon City. During the period, Hua Yuerong seemed to be listening carefully, but her peach blossom eyes were fixed on her senior brother intently. "Junior sister, did you hear what my disciple said just now? Do you have any opinions on the current situation in Black Moon City?" Hua Yuerong let out an ah, as if waking up from a dream, her whole body was shocked, and then she looked away from her senior brother. "Sorry, senior brother, Wrong just now, still has some details, I didn't hear clearly. If Protector Tantai doesn't, if you don't mind, you can describe it again." "Why?" Baifeng sighed softly, and said with a secret method, "Junior sister, why do you always care so much about senior brother's appearance? You didn't listen carefully just now, did you?" Hearing this voice, Hua Yuerong was in a trance, as if she had returned to the evil medicine sect when she was a girl, and was admonished by this elder brother. "Senior brother Qingling, there is no wronger in this seat." She pursed her lips, like a girl who did something wrong, she lowered her head in shame. Seeing this, Yehong Ai and Tantai Lingian looked even more shocked in their eyes. Could it be that the master of Wadian is the girl wronger in that exposed memory? Perhaps because of the role of the flower in the mirror, the two girls thought of this at the same time. Forget it, the deity will tell you personally. Next, with solemn eyes, Bai Feng told the information about Black Moon City again. Well, it seems that once the tiger dies, the four major families in Black Moon City will finally be unable to sit still. A war against rebellion is inevitable. Hua Yuerong murmured, her eyebrows also furrowed. Tantai Lingian and Yehong Ai felt even more nervous when they saw this embroidered face saintess, who had always been calm, showing such a sad look. Don't panic. Bai Feng said, the four major families in Black Moon City seem to be working together and intending to rebel, but in fact, there are serious internal divisions. We only need to break down one by one, and the rebellion can be suppressed overnight. One night. The three women all stared wide-eyed, looking at the handsome man in front of them in disbelief. Good. Bai Feng continued. Take the Kunlun-He clan with the largest number of people as an example. This group of black men are aggressive on weekdays. A nascent soul realm cultivator. The ability to reproduce like cockroaches is their only advantage. It is also because of this that the other three major families, as well as the casual cultivators and common people in the city, all despise them. The reason why they have been allowed to grow these years is just to produce more Kunlun slaves who are strong and healthy. That's all. So. Speaking of this, Bai Feng's eyes were like torches, and his tone suddenly became cold. If I, the Kangming sect, in the name of the Suzy reign, blame the disappearance of the master of the Black Moon Hall, Sidul Yang, on the heads of the Hiju, and issue an announcement to let the Hiju clan high-level people came to plead guilty, what do you think the other three big families will do? According to what Lingian sees, the other three major families will definitely be delighted and watch from the sidelines. Tantai Lingian said, because if the elites of the He race are wiped out through the hands of the sect, then they will be able to rob and trade more low-level Kunlun slaves in an open and honest manner. That's right, as expected of you, Suzun. Bai Feng nodded in satisfaction, stretched out his hand, and rubbed the head of the second disciple. Tantai Lingian's cheeks blushed, but she did not avoid master's intimacy in public. At this moment, an angry girl's voice sounded. Humph. These three major families are too hateful. My Kangming sect, although I am a demon sect, what I pursue is the detached way of doing whatever I want and not being bound by worldly etiquette. It's not the murderous and abusive purgatory demon way of the Shiji sect. In the Kunlun Black clan, even though there are many people with low moral character, why are they treated like livestock and bought and sold at will? Yehong Ai was upright and awe-inspiring, as if he had the aura of a suzerain. Hey, Lord Sovereign, some rules will not be transferred according to your will, but are determined by the market. After Bai Feng finished speaking, he looked at his junior sister at the side. Let's get back to the topic. You wrong. I need your shadow assassins from the Yingui Palace to assassinate several great elders of the Kunlun Black clan within an hour of the announcement. Is it possible? It's not difficult. Hua Yuerong said, senior brother should know that the seat is wrong. The assassin army trained by Wronger is composed of Jindan magic cultivators. He once successfully assassinated the supervisor of the Great Chu dynasty. This person also caused my Hua family to be destroyed. One of the culprits. Okay, then the matter of the Kunlun tribe is finalized. Bai Feng continued, the next step is the Xie family. Although the Xie family's power is not as powerful as the other two, it controls the three major cities in the city, as well as several surrounding spiritual mines, and has strong financial resources. As the daughter of the patriarch of the Xie family, she was given to the supreme elder Nangong Fang by the Tiger Taoist back then as a sequel. Therefore, the Xie family is also among the four major families, the one that is most likely to be pulled back by us. The Xie family is a businessman. All they want is a promise from the new suzerain. Because this promise was given by Tiger before, now that Tiger is dead, they feel uneasy. What promise? Ye Hong I asked with a frown. The right to independently manage and collect surrounding spiritual mines. Bai Feng said. The Kangming sect is not short of the income from these spiritual mines, and the Xie family is too petty. This point, my suzerain, has never thought of changing it. Ye Hong I said, what the tigers licensed to them back then, this suzerain can also do it. Yes, she is indeed the woman I like. Bai Feng nodded, scored twice, stretched out his broad palm, and rubbed the goddaughter's head. Ye Hong I was taken aback for a moment, then rubbed his cheeks with reddish cheeks, as if he was cooperating with the other party. Looking at this scene, Hua Yuerong and Tantai Lingyan who were beside them frowned slightly. All right, now that the Xie family and the He family have been dealt with, let's talk about the Murong family, which has been refining and forging magical artifacts for generations and controls most of the trading of magical artifacts in the city. Bai Feng said, a few days ago in the Murong family, a great person died and the whole family was in mourning. Do you know about this? Ye Hong I on the side hurriedly replied, the one who died was the head of the Murong family, the wife of Murong Chi's childhood sweetheart. At that time, as the head of the Black Moon Hall, I also represented the sect and attended the funeral. Bai Feng said, it is said that Murong Chi's wife was stripped of her clothes, raped and murdered to death, and then her skin was stripped and her soul was taken away. The death was so miserable, you say. If we tie up the murderer and throw him in front of Murong Chi, what will happen to him? Ye Hong I said, based on what I know about Murong Chi, if he can really avenge his beloved wife, he is willing to give everything. That's right. Bai Feng clapped his hands and stood up, it's not too late, we can act now. Action. The three women looked at each other in astonishment. Looking at the elder brother who was holding Zhizu in front of him, Hua Yuerong asked in a harsh voice, but, the situation of the three major families has been finished. Senior brother, don't you want to analyze it, the Tang family? The Tang family has nothing to analyze. Bai Feng said with a half smile but not a smile, we will destroy the Tang family tonight. After finishing speaking, he looked at the half-bright and half-dark cold moon in the sky, and said with a slightly dignified expression. Let's go, if you don't hurry up, the wife of the seventh young master of the Tang family is going to cheat the corpse. Out of absolute trust in the Godfather. The suzerain, Ye Hong I, did not discuss with any senior sect officials. After the suzerain issued the notice overnight that the disappearance of Sidu Liang, the master of the Black Moon Hall, was caused by the Kunlun Hiju. Together with her best friend Tantai Lingyan, she personally flew towards the direction of Black Moon City on the eight-clawed dragon flying chariot specially used by the suzerain. Yes, the Godfather said that he wants Xingyi to quell the rebellion, so he must be confident. After all, on that snowy morning, he also promised her the suzerain position in such an understatement. In the carport of the flying chariot, Bai Feng looked at Hua Yuerong who was sitting across from him, staring at him obsessively. All of a sudden, it brought back all sorts of memories. The four eyes meet. The atmosphere began to become a little delicate. Maybe she couldn't stand the fiery gaze of her first love. Hua Yuerong lowered her head and said softly. Senior brother Qingling, Ronger has just issued the order of the palace master. After an hour, the heads of the three great elders of the Kunlun He clan will fall to the ground. You are my junior sister, Bai Qingling, so I naturally believe in your ability, so why do you need to say more? Bai Feng said gently, put his hand over, and put it on junior sister's chest by accident. I rely on this feeling. It was an extremely casual and intimate act, but Bai Feng almost couldn't hold back, and almost cried out. After all, it was his childhood sweetheart, the junior sister whom he had loved so young. How comfortable would it be to use this pair of majestic, as if gentle, to give him pure love. Brother you. At this moment, perhaps some parts are particularly sensitive, Hua Yuerong's cheeks are even redder. However, she did not dodge. She was already at a young age, but like a little girl, she covered her hot cheeks. Huh? Brother just wants to hear Ronger's heartbeat. Does that make you uncomfortable? Baifeng raised his eyebrows, pretending to be serious. However, there was already a pink wave in my heart. The posture of the embroidered face saintess in front of him finally matched the junior sister Ronger in his memory. Back to the day when the two first met by the creek. It was as if he had fallen in love with someone again. No Ronger would dare. Hua Yuerong lowered her head, not daring to look at her brother's handsome face. However, for some unknown reason, she deliberately puffed up her chest, as if she was cooperating with the other party. Ronger, there is no one else here. The curtain outside the carport can isolate all sound waves. If there is any movement here, the two children outside can't hear it, so. Brother wants to hear the truth. Baifeng stared closely at the beautiful peach blossom eyes of his junior sister, and asked word by word, "Why did you come here tonight?" Under the soft words of the senior brother close to the ear, Hua Yuerong only felt that her ears were crisp, her heart throbbed, and she was completely speechless. She left a strand of ear hair to cover her cheeks, and looked even more ashamed. After all, he was an old driver in the love field in his previous life. When Baifeng saw this battle, he knew that he had already grasped this familiar young lady very close. He continued to occupy the home court and asked. "You've seen the way Hong Ai worships me, so you think she summoned me late at night for something else, are you jealous? Right? Huh? Ah." After hearing this, Hua Yuerong opened her mouth slightly, as if her soul had been stabbed, her plump and charming body trembled slightly. "That's right, I already know that Ronger is still the same Ronger as before." Baifeng shook his head with a smile, admired the pretty face of his junior sister for 2 seconds, and suddenly said, "There is only your senior brother Qingling here, take off the veil, Ronger." Hua Yuerong nodded, and took out a spiritual thought with her fingers. Covering the veil below the bridge of the tall nose, it flew to the palm automatically without wind. An unbelievably beautiful round oval face suddenly appeared. To be honest, before seeing the current face of his junior sister, he really didn't expect that a girl with a round face could be so beautiful. "Okay, close your eyes," Baifeng said again. Hua Yuerong was taken aback for a moment, and then, according to her senior brother's words, she slowly closed her beautiful eyes. Baifeng couldn't hold back any longer, held his junior sister's soft shoulders, and kissed those plump and sexy red lips. This wave is the second first kiss. Big brother. Hua Yuerong's eyelashes moved slightly, and the blush on her cheeks climbed up her round and sensual earlobes at a speed visible to the naked eye. Baifeng's heart was agitated, suppressing the energy of pure love accumulated for his junior sister for 100 years, he gently bit her earlobe gently. "Listen, Ronger. 100 years have passed. Senior brother Qingling is no longer who I was yesterday. As for you, junior sister, you still need to work harder, become stronger and more perfect, and become the right-hand man of senior brother. When that day comes, the brothers will meet. I promise you a real wedding that will shake Dongtu, do you understand?" After hearing this, Hua Yuerong suddenly opened her beautiful eyes, and crystal tears overflowed from her eyes in an instant. "I love the demon lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate." Author, Zhi Shi Shui Bao. Chapter 80. Chapter 80. Tang Tian Ran's Horror, 5600 words 12. Black Moon City. Tangjiabao. Inside the splendid reception hall. 4 men with very different temperaments and clothes were pushing cups and changing cups. The faces are full of complacent and joyful colors. They are the heads of the 4 major families in the city. Well done. Well done. As expected of the 7th young master. A white-faced, beardless old man in a long gown respectfully looked at the vigorous young man beside him. I don't know. Where is Sidu Liang from the Moon Hall now? It's in Mr. Xie's hands. The 7th young master of the Tang family said with a half-smile. Ah, this patriarch of the Xie family, Xie Zonglin's old face froze, but he was puzzled. This is made of human skulls. A middle-aged man who was described as thin and dressed in Taoist robes sitting across from him knocked over his wine glass and stood up. Tisk tisk, you are indeed a master of crafts for generations, Brother Murong can tell at a glance, it is rare. The 7th son of the Tang family said with a half-smile. 7th young master. You made the bones of the head of the Kangming sect into a wine cup. A dark-skinned old man sitting in the last seat screamed. Elder Black Dragon, our 3 major families are talking about business, how can you interrupt? The 7th son of the Tang family changed his previous kindness, and shouted in a cold voice, the outside world regards the Ni Kunlun family as one of the 4 major families in Black Moon City, don't you take it seriously. After hearing this, the great elder of the Kunlun clan gritted his teeth and did not dare to refute at all. The atmosphere suddenly became a bit awkward. Hey, big things are coming, we can't have civil strife. Harmony makes money. Harmony makes money. The patriarch of the Xie family stood up again, smoothing things out with a smile on his face, but having said that, 7th young master, your methods are really high. Killed. No wonder Mr. Tang passed on the title of patriarch to you back then. Hey, easy to say. The 7th young master of the Tang family waved his hand, motioning for everyone to sit down again. He poured wine for the 3 of them again, and said, the position of patriarch was snatched by me. Hearing this, the 3 of them were all shocked. It's very simple. Get rid of some brothers, then abolish some brothers, and finally find a reason to threaten the remaining brothers. The only one who can succeed the Tang family as the head of the family is me. Young Master Tang Chi spoke calmly. The 3 people at the wine table were so heartbroken. This Tang Chi was only in his early 30s, but he had such a contemptuous means, and with his own power, he overthrew the most powerful Tang family among the 4 major families. Okay, everyone, what I have done these years, I will tell you slowly in the future. Young Master Tang Chi stood up suddenly, picked up his wine glass, and said calmly, since Sidu Liang is dead, let's open the skylight and speak plainly. I'm the youngest here, so I'll be the first to express my opinion. Now that Daoist Tiger is dead, I feel very sad in my heart. Starting from this month, my Tang family will no longer pay offerings to the Kangming section. What do you think of the 3? Hearing this, the remaining 3 people's eyes were both shocked and bewildered, and they didn't dare to express their opinions for a while. 7th son. The older patriarch of the Xie family, Xie Zonglin, stood up again, aren't you too fast? Although Daoist Tiger is dead and the foundation of the little girl's patriarch is unstable, don't forget. Behind her, there is demon venerable Qingling sitting in charge. And now it has been proven that this person's terror is thousands of times stronger than that of a fierce tiger. Therefore, it is better for us to draw it slowly. Humph, Mr. Xie is too ambitious for others, destroying his own prestige. The 7th young master of the Tang family said coldly, before today, I, Tang Tianran, would still be afraid of Bai Qingling, but after tonight, this so-called godfather of Kangming, he is nothing. Tonight. Murong patriarch at the side, Murong Chi seemed to have thought of something. Mr. Tang Chi, could it be your wife? Good. Tang Tianran opened the window and looked up at the sky. The cold moon was covered with a bloody aura, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly, Tonight is the day when my dead wife will be resurrected. With her, I can do anything. So, the date of the incident is set after 7 days. 3. Make a decision quickly. Don't forget, all 3 of your families participated in the murder of Sidhu Liang. Moreover, we also paid the nomination certificate to the head of Kunlun Daozong Yugzuzi for this matter. Right now, we are already on the same boat. The youngest head of the Tang family issued an ultimatum. The other 3 looked at each other, still doubtful. At this moment, a retainer of the Tang family quickly came in to report, "My lord. Just now the Kangming General Altar issued a condemnation announcement, saying that the murder of Sidhu Liang, the head of the Black Moon Hall, has come to light. The family, the Xie family, the 3 major families are not special, the culprit is." Speaking of this, the retainer glanced at the elders of the Kunlun tribe. At the same time, the 3 patriarchs present all looked at him. "Did you make a mistake?" The dark-skinned elder Kunlun looked horrified, and opened his big mouth, revealing his white teeth. "Impossible. After Master Sidhu entered the city, he has never been to my Kunlun village." "Superior." "Ha ha 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 ha." The 7th young master of the Tang family laughed loudly and broke the silence. "Great Elder Black Dragon, it seems that the time has finally come when you can use your Kunlun clan. At the moment we are not ready yet. It is not appropriate to formally break face with the Kangming section after you go back. You Elder Black Dragon, you will randomly catch a few scapegoats and send them to the Kangming Law Enforcement Hall. The little suzerain and her godfather must be satisfied." "Thank you. Daoist Murong. You must decide for me. This matter has nothing to do with my Kunlun clan." Elder Heilong panicked when he heard this, and looked to the 2 patriarchs beside him as if asking for help. Xiezonglan opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but swallowed it anyway. Murong Chi even lowered his head, turning a deaf ear. "Young Master Tang Chi. You are born." The Black Dragon Elder, angry from the heart, cursed, "What are you? You are just a despicable villain who relies on women for his position. Without your holy wife from Misty Cloud Palace, you, Tang Chi, are nothing. In these years, I, the Kunlun clan, have devoted myself to the 3 major families of yours. How much blood and sweat I have put in. But now I am abandoned by you. Forget it. From tonight, I, the Kunlun clan, swear not to be slaves." With bloodshot eyes, he dropped the harsh words and was about to leave. Suddenly, a slender He clan guard rushed in and reported, "Report to the Great Elder. The shadow assassin from the Yinghui Palace just now sneaked into our city. They captured the 2nd elder and the 3rd elder. Then, on the tower, they read out the Patriarch Yehong I's letter in public, and executed the 2nd and 3rd elders according to the Kangming law. They also offered a reward of 100,000 spirit stones to arrest you, Great Elder." Hearing this, the Black Dragon Elder's eyes went dark, and he almost passed out. "Tisk tisk, it seems that our little suzerain and his godfather are very eager to arrest the Elder Black Dragon." The 7th son of the Tang family walked over with gloomy eyes. "What do you want to do?" Seeing the other party walking towards him, the Black Dragon Elder trembled with fright, gritted his teeth and said, "Tang Chi. I am a Kunlun tribe, there are at least 100,000 people in the city. How dare you touch a single hair of my hair? There are countless strong men of my Kunlun tribe. Ding, you will definitely trample your fraudulent wife to death." "Oops." Tang Tianran sighed softly, and a perverted smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. "Elder Black Dragon, I wanted to capture you alive just now and dedicate it to that little suzerain, but now, you. There is a way to kill." "Say it." "Choke." An incomparably sharp sword light passed across. The Black Dragon Elder's body was separated, and the bright red blood sprayed the hall, which also dyed his black body red. "Okay, give his pig's head to the envoy of Yingui Palace outside the city." Now is not the time to lose face with that embroidered face saint. The seventh son of the Tang family finished wiping the blade calmly, and looked at the stunned heads of the Xie family and the Murong family. You two brothers, let's continue to discuss important matters. After all, he waved his hand boldly. Keep playing the music. Keep dancing. Xie Zonglan and Murong Qi looked at each other and sat back silently. At this moment, a young man dressed in brocade robes rushed in and came to Xie Zonglan's side. It is the grandson of the Xie family, Xie Yongxuan. The three generations of the Xie family were single-handed, and Xie Zonglan's legitimate son died young, leaving only the youngest son. Therefore, everyone in the Xie family regarded her as a darling and cared for her in every possible way, and thus made Xie Yongxuan the #1 dude in Black Moon City. The seventh young master of the Tang family and Murong Qi looked curiously. I saw this grandson of the Xie family leaning close to his grandfather's ear and saying something. Immediately afterwards, Xie Yongxuan's old face changed color. He sat up abruptly, and said to the remaining two, Young Master Tang Qi, Patriarch Murong. Xie, has a big incident in a certain clan, and I must go back to deal with it first. As for the big plan of this incident, let's spy on it another day. After all, without waiting for the seventh young master of the Tang family to reply, he took his grandson's hand and left quickly. Thank you, old man. I'm getting old, I still don't know the priorities, and I do things frizzy, hey. Tang Tianran gritted his teeth, and there was a bit of anger in his eyes. Forget it. Brother Murong, let's continue talking. He picked up the wine glass and was about to clink glasses with Patriarch Murong, who was sitting blankly. Let's do it first. At this time, another middle-aged man in a green robe vacated from the window. Excuse me, young Master Tang Qi. I have something urgent, and I must report it to my patriarch. The person who came was Murong Hui, the chief craftsman of the Murong family and also Murong Qi's younger brother. Okay, hurry up. Don't disturb the elegance of my son and your patriarch. Tang Tianran waved his hands impatiently. At this moment, some doubts have arisen in his heart. It is definitely impossible for the three major families to have so many troubles during this cup of tea. It is absolutely impossible to be a coincidence. Just as he was secretly speculating in his heart, the most worrying scene appeared. After whispering with his clan brother, Murong Qi, like Xie Zonglan before him, stood up urgently and said to him, I'm really sorry, young Master Tang Qi. He didn't finish his sentence. That Tang Qigong raised his eyebrows coldly and said, Humph, something serious happened to your family, and you need to deal with it urgently, right? Yes, Mr. Tang Qi is really good at predicting things. Farewell for now. Murong Qi gave a dry laugh, then cupped his hands and was about to leave. But I heard a shout. Murong Qi, stop for me. A series of bizarre incidents tonight made the seventh son of the Tang family furious and broke out completely. Tonight is a big event, you must stay here and speak clearly to me. If you leave like this, that's breaking the covenant. It's becoming an enemy of our Tang family. You should weigh it carefully. Furious, the seventh son of the Tang family pulled out his treasured saber again, and with a choke, cut the desk table into 2 pieces. Humph, young Master Tang Qi, are you threatening me, Murong Qi? Seeing the other party pull out the sword, Murong Qi also had an angry look on his face. Or is it that young Master Tang Qi thinks that I, the Murong family, have a 1,000-year-old weapon refining background, just like the Kunlun Black Clan, and can be manipulated by others? Outsiders don't know who you are, Tang Tianran, but I, Murong Qi, know it all. In the past, when your father, Patriarch Tang, was alive, you pretended to be gentle, courteous, and thrifty when you met everyone. You won the favor of the elders. However, the heart is too filthy. I, Murong Qi, Don't want to be with people like you. Murongchi's every word was like thunder falling from the sky. The seventh young master of the Tang family was so shaken that he retreated steadily, almost staggering and falling to the ground. Something is wrong. It's very wrong. First, Elder Kunlun was plotted against, then Xie's family and Murong's family received urgent reports and left the scene urgently. This series of changes is by no means accidental. Tang Tianran slumped on the throne, only feeling a biting chill coming from his back. This moment, he vaguely felt that outside the Tang family's attic, there was a ghostly figure hiding in the dark, peeping and manipulating everything here. Could it be that little suzerain Yehong? I've met this little girl before, she doesn't look like someone so serious in the city. Could it be that embroidered face saintess made a move? This is not her style either. With her style of conduct, if she really decides to conquer Black Moon City, she will never be sent to accept and assassinate the most useless Kunlun tribe. Exclude all the impossible, then there is only. In an instant, a tall, burly, domineering specter appeared in the mind of the seventh son of the Tang family. That man who he had once met in the suzerain election and witnessed him killing Taoist Tiger with a flick of his fingers. Think about it. The coolness of Tang Tianran's vest became even more penetrating, and the cold sweat dripped down his forehead. Don't panic, don't panic. Why should I panic? I have a wife, everything is safe. Madam loves me as deeply as the sea. For me, she voluntarily was refined by the Taoist Tiger to become a puppet of the seven demon corps. She was already the chief saintess of Misty Cloud Palace before she was alive, and her strength is only inferior to the palace master Tianxin Layman and the ancestor saintess Mu Xinlan. Now that the dead body has returned to life, it must be even more powerful and incomparable. Old White Devil. Today is the day when my dead wife is resurrected, and it is also the time when your soul returns to the Nine Springs. The eyes of the seventh young master of the Tang family were hot, as if there was a flame of madness inside. Black Moon City, Yahuafang, Xie's residence. An unremarkable civilian carriage pulled by two ordinary horses, stopped in front of the majestic gate of the Xie family. The drivers were surprisingly two beautiful girls with curvaceous figures. Tisk tisk, Sister Lingian, this Black Moon City is really big. I have been the head of the Black Moon Hall for 3 years, and I have been here so many times, but I still almost get lost. Yehong I looked at his best friend at the side. The suzerain should feel sorry for the financial resources of the Xie family. 90% of the silver shops and restaurants we have traveled along the way are all owned by the Xie family. Seeing the tall and majestic Xie family's family in front of them, who far surpassed the sect, Tantai Lingian had a dignified expression, that Tiger Taoist has really given a lot to the Xie family. Harm, it doesn't matter. Yehong I smiled, the Godfather said that only by loving money can one gather money. Then the head of the Xie family, Xie Zonglan, is a good material for doing business. Let them develop the surrounding spiritual minds, and we will collect dividends, which are far more than that. The group of disciples in the Zongmen who only know how to fight and kill, manage it by themselves. Well, maybe so. Tantai Lingian nodded. Well, let's go, Miss Suzun, let's go in. Godfather and Palace Master Hua are on their way to Murong's house right now. You and I are both leaders of Kangming's younger generation. We cannot let the two elders take you lightly. Yehong I was the first to get off his horse and walked over. She stretched out her hand, and was about to hug this Miss Lingian down as usual. Unexpectedly, the latter gently swung her hand away. No need, suzerain, I will do it myself. Okay. Yehong I forced a smile. My heart is a little blocked. She always feels. After experiencing the threesome with the Godfather by the Acacia pool tonight. There is a sad and thick barrier between this Lingian sister and her. At the same time. Da. Another carriage also drove slowly towards Murong Villa located in the northern suburb of Black Moon City. The drivers were two women wearing night clothes and wearing the Yingui Temple badge. Inside the carport, a pair of handsome men and beauties with mature temperament are sitting snuggled up to each other. Senior brother Qingling, just now an assassin from my Yingui temple, came to report that the second and third elders of the Kunlun clan have been executed in public according to the law. As for the first elder. Speaking of this, the embroidered face saintess looked at the lover next to her. The pair of peach blossom eyes that were already good-looking added a hint of admiration. Just as senior brother expected, the members of the other three major families not only sat idly by, but also beheaded the great elder of the He clan in public. Oh, I see. Bai Fen nodded, reached out his hand again, and patted the other person's chest as a sign of encouragement. Then, he closed his eyes and stopped talking. In fact, within this short joystick drive, he has already patted his junior sister's chest 3 times. I almost couldn't bear it in the middle, and hid the head deeply. However, despite countless shameful star showers, he finally held back. There is no other reason. If he gave someone up for nothing so easily, it might be difficult to hold this little junior sister in the future. You know, the current wronger is no longer the silly, white, and sweet daughter she was back then. If she finds out that she and Senior have merged, she might be in trouble. Senior brother Qingling, is wronger doing well? Hua Yuerong glanced at her lover who had fallen into meditation again, and asked softly. Seeing her beautiful eyes sparkle, she seems to have returned to her girlhood when she was just learning art, longing for every affirmation from her senior brother. You did very well. Bai Fen nodded. Thank you, brother, for your affirmation. Hua Yuerong said happily. Then, she tried to lean on the generous shoulders of her senior brother. Seeing that the other party didn't refuse, his cheeks flushed with happiness. At this moment, the carriage stopped. It seems to have reached its destination. Okay, wronger. Bai Feng suddenly opened his eyes, took his junior sister's soft and fair little hand, and said with firm eyes, after 100 years, let's reunite with senior brother and suppress all enemies. 5,600 words are sent. There is a chapter of 5,000 words. It should be finished by 12 o'clock. Even if you stay until 1 o'clock, the snow leopard will deliver it. Never default. The 3 chapters of this short plot are over, don't worry.